is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
Yes, sir. We are ready to rock and roll on a beautiful Tuesday. How you feeling, Bill? You feeling good? You feeling good? You feeling all right, Bill? You feeling good? All right.
For the most part, yes.
There you go. Bill is feeling good. I'm feeling good. I hope you're feeling good out there on a beautiful Tuesday. Hope all is well, especially, after that Heat performance last night. See, this is one of those things that I'm sure that you when you actually ended up going through the experience last night, you were wondering where is this team, right? And this is part of being young, you know what I mean, with the Miami Heat. And they went through this funk, and maybe they're still in the funk, by the way. We don't know that yet. But they went through a 25-game funk where, there were 26 where they were 12-14, right? That's what it was. And so 12-14, so that's 26 games in, right? And you're like, okay, so when are you guys going to, when are you guys going to wake up, right? And so, that's where it's, that's where the situation is. You're like, okay, wait a minute, what's going on with you guys? You were 24-8, now you're 12-14 in the last 26. Why are you guys in this funk, right? And then now the last 3 games. You beat Dallas, you beat the Nets, and now you beat Milwaukee, which you beat them for the second time. And so you're sitting there as a fan scratching your head going, well, wait a minute, dude. Like, why don't you guys play like this all the time? And it's what I was telling you guys a week ago. They're young. They're young. They don't know. They're not ready to be the ultimate professionals, to show up every night and play really hard and play the right way and play on defense, because they're willing to play offense, okay? They will score. They can score. But we watch them lose games in the 120s, right? And So last night, you watch incredible effort on defense. You know, if you follow me on Twitter at Big O Show, it's really what I tweeted out last night about it. And I basically paraphrasing, if I can't find the tweet, basically I said, Bam plays his ass off every single night. Tonight, the Heat matched Bam's intensity and impact every single night. Because we watched that Bam has a great night and they lose, right? During that 26-game funk, Bam would have an awesome game, almost a triple-double, and then he's pissed off after the game, which you love because they lost, right? Last night was one of those where I put Heat need to bottle up this kind of effort and intensity on a consistent basis to avoid the mediocre run that they were on for a 25-game stretch. Because it was fun to watch last night. I mean, the defense, the way Bam played up against Giannis yesterday, that stat was a great stat that Giannis had 13 transition points in their last meeting. This time he had 0. And they were really good on their transition defense, too. And offensively, they didn't allow Milwaukee to get set. I mean, it was just a fun game to watch. You're just sitting there beside yourself going, wow, why don't we see this like every night? Because you and I know they don't go 12-14 in 26 games if they play like that last night. They don't lose to Cleveland, and they don't lose to, who was it, Cleveland, Atlanta, and what was the other sorry-ass team that they lost to? I mean, just crazy stuff, right? They would have not lost to those teams if they're playing like that. And if they're playing like that, then obviously their record would have been a lot better, too. It wouldn't be 12-14, you know what I'm saying? And that's the frustrating part. But, look, I told you guys this. They're not having a bad season. They're having a solid season. Even when they were 12-14, it was kind of balancing out because they're young. And these guys don't know how to bring that defensive intensity. They know Giannis is coming, the number one team in the East. They got up for it, all that good stuff. The Dallas game was one of those where they did well. The Nets game, they kind of eked out, all of that. But they didn't play like they played last night, right? Even in the Dallas and the Nets wins, they didn't play like they played last night. Last night they had the intensity for the loose balls. They had the intensity to play defense. They had the aggressive nature of playing offense because, man, that was a track meet. And love that, how they were willing to run and attack. But it's just one of those things that we've got to go through. And I think you'll see the best basketball from these young guys in another year or two. Because in another year or two, Kendrick Nunn and Duncan and all these cats, their bodies would have developed, their minds would have developed, they have seen everything, they've experienced everything, and they'll be mature enough to bring the kind of intensity that they brought last night. You know what I mean? And so that part is awesome, I got to say. That if you're able – now, listen, if somehow or another they're able to do this from here on out, that would be pretty awesome too, because that would show a real quick turn in maturity. But here's the thing. Their bodies haven't developed. No matter what you say, they haven't hit the weight room enough yet. You know what I mean? So they're going to still need to do all of that over the next year or two to kind of really play the basketball that Heat basketball requires, that Spo demands. Because you watch Spo on the sidelines. When they're not doing what they're supposed to, you see it in his face. You see it in his body language. I mean, it's clear. But last night, man, wow. Last night was a lot of fun. That was one of those performances that you just got to tip your hat and say, all right, boys, let's go. We need more of this. And you got the Magic next, right, tomorrow. So let's don't let up now. Please play the Magic like you played last night. Don't give the Magic any kind of life. You know what I mean? That would be, see, that's the part that's where this is great. This is where their maturity takes a test now, right? You had the high of beating the number one team in Milwaukee. It's the second time you do it, which is freaking amazing. Now you've got to show that maturity and come back and play with that same kind of intensity against Orlando. If you don't play this way, I mean, it's not that it's going to be depressing or anything, but it's just going to be, okay, well, they haven't gotten it yet. They're still young, and they'll figure it out and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? That's kind of the way I got to look at it, you know? So it'll be nice to see how they respond to Orlando tomorrow night and see if they can maintain. You and I know if they maintain that same level of intensity, they beat Orlando by 20. No doubt about it. And yesterday, the Bucks shot 40% from the field, 20% from three-point range. Miami shot 43 from the field, 48 from three-point range. 48%, man. Duncan was 3 of 7. Olynyk was 3 of 3. Dragon was 3 of 7 from 3. Bam, 14 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks yesterday, man. And his defense on Giannis was absolutely amazing. That was really nice last night. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of team defense.
Yeah.
I think Rothstein showed it in the second at halftime. The way we were set up, man, and covering the paint.
Yeah.
And everybody rotated beautifully.
Yeah.
And, I mean, bottom line, Giannis didn't have a path to go to the basket.
Right. Yeah, no, they did an awesome job, man. That was a performance that you just sit back and you just admire the crap out of that performance.
Because of our youth, like you said, do you play to the level of your competition? And we anticipate
sometimes
probably,
that happens.
You know, you get up for the big ones. But like you said, Cleveland, Atlanta, Minnesota, that run, it's hard to not.
Oh, Orlando will be a nice test.
They always are a pain in the butt.
And they never play well against Orlando. But if they can play the way they played last night against Orlando, then we're going to see a different Heat team. We're going to see a different Heat result against the stinking Magic.
Should smoke them.
I don't know about you, but I'm freaking tired of watching Miami lose to the Magic. I mean, I'm sick of it already. Okay? I'm tired of it. So please, kick their ass. Okay? Kick their ass and kick their ass every time you play them. Just play like you played last night. That's all. That's all. You know, but again, I'm not going to go crazy about it because I also know how young they are. So it's what I was telling you last week. These are the ups and downs you're going to have to deal with young guys. They're going to have their streaks. They're going to play well, and then they're not going to play well. It's just the way it is. It's really and it takes a special professional like Bam to play with that intensity like Zoe every single night. Okay? I mean, all right, we're the show that stays with honesty, right? Can you say that Dwayne Wade played really, really hard every night? Come on. We love him. He's my favorite Heat player of all time. There were nights where you knew Wade was kind of coasting. He was just getting, because it's a long-ass season. But those dudes that are wired like Zoe and like Bam, they're weirdos, man. They're weirdos. You know, you probably have a couple of people like that at work. You have your way that you go to work and you have your ups and downs, and there are those people that are super intense and they bring it to work every day, right? And the Heat way is to bring it every single day, and that's what Bam does. And that's what I said last night. Last night, the team brought Bam-like intensity from beginning to end because that's how Bam plays every night against Cleveland, against Atlanta, against everybody. If everybody played like Bam, oh, my Lord, they'd have the number 1 seed right now. They'd be challenging Milwaukee right now for the number 1 seed if they played like Bam every night. But it's hard. It's just not normal. It's just not. It's something we admire, right? But it's really, really hard to bring it every day for your job, any job it is. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're selling our better hot dogs on a corner stand. I don't care if you're washing cars. I don't care if you're a doctor. I don't care what it is. It's hard to bring perfect intensity to your work every day and enthusiasm and work really, really hard. You're going to have your ups and downs, your mood swings, things like that, because we're all human beings. People like Bam are not normal. They're just not normal. Zos are not normal. They're not. Zach Thomas, they're not normal. Jason Taylor, they're not normal. Those people don't know. They don't know how to take plays off. They don't know how to take days off. And yesterday, that was the intensity that they used. They used a Bam-like intensity, and it paid off in a huge way, man. It was awesome. Don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be at VSS West Pines in Pembroke Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, folks. They've got all kinds of great CBD products. So if you're looking for something to relieve some pain, anxiety, stress, you need to sleep better, CBD products can help you. They're not illegal. It's not a drug. It's all the medicinal part of the plant, folks. And if you want to get educated on all of it, whether it's for you or your animals at home, please reach out to our friends, okay, at VSS West Pines on Instagram and Facebook, 12397 Pembroke Road, and visit them on Instagram and Facebook at VSS West Pines. Let's do a little roll call here. Let's see what we got. Dominic Veluso says, ooh, free agent chime. We will get to a little football talk. Mike Monaco from the Bronx is chiming in. Ty says good morning to everybody out there. Let's see what else. Do we have Go Gators? Says, hell of a Heat victory last night. I'm with you. Man of 1,005 holds. Good morning. The Heat got their groove back. Well, not yet, but it's a nice little 3-game set. Let's see what they do. Let's not go overboard thinking that they're back already. That's not yet. Peter is chiming in also. What else do we have here on the text line? I see a lot of you guys are talking with each other. Big O, I remember when the Heat drafted Bam, you were like, who the hell is Bam? Yeah, nobody knew who the hell Bam was. Hey, man, Tyler Hero, didn't know much about him either. So join the club. Joe Latufo, hi, Orlando. Hi, Bill. How are you guys? We are great. Thank you. And he also says that he hopes it's starting something big for the Heat. We will find out over the next couple of games if they pick up from here. Ronald Tift says the Heat are going to win a championship again soon. Well, I mean, that is, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, they're that kind of franchise, so it's very realistic to think that they would win a championship. SoFlo fan says, good morning. Bam has been a steal for the Heat. Yes. There's no doubt watching him grow every single year, watching him play defense against the Greek yesterday and the effort. And this is why the Greek, if the Greek is going to leave Milwaukee, right? I mean, there's the example. Look, he drafted on his all-star team Bam and Jimmy. Okay? And then he's lost twice to them already. The only team in the NBA to beat Milwaukee twice is your beloved Miami Heat. He sees the intensity. He sees what Bam brings to the table. He knows what this organization is all about. Spo is one of the 3 best coaches in the NBA. I'm not even saying 5 anymore. Okay? I mean, it's an insult to Eric Spoelstra to say he's a top 5 coach. He's a top 3 coach. I don't know where you want to put, it's Pops and then him and Carlisle. I don't know where you want to put it, 2 or 3, whatever. For argument's sake, I'll let you slide. I don't care. Top 3. Bam knows it. Great city, international city, all that good stuff. Not that somebody from Greece, Miami's as important as somebody from the Dominican or Argentina, Brazil. Miami might be a little more important to them, but you know what I'm saying. So culturally, it's a very wide net we have here in South Florida. Maybe it's something that attracts him. I don't know. And it's going to be weird, right? Because we're all rooting for him to lose. I mean, that's the only way we can look at it. That he gets surprised in the second round, or it would be nice in the first round, but let's say he gets surprised in the second round by some team, and then the controversy starts. Does he have enough around him in Milwaukee with the final year and him approaching free agency? I am terrified that the Greek is just a good dude, which he looks like it, but he's like a good dude and a good, honest dude, like a Tim Duncan, that I'm fine in San Antonio. I don't need to go to the big city, dude. I'm fine. I'm good. And maybe the Greek is like that too. Maybe the Greek is just fine being in Milwaukee. Now, see, American basketball players, they claim the spotlight. They want to go to the bigger cities. They want to go to the bigger markets. That's one of the knocks there on the system with the NBA. I mean, we're watching guys leave max deals on the table to go elsewhere. Okay? That's not chump change that they're leaving behind. They're leaving millions and millions of dollars behind, and they're signing elsewhere because the current market they're in is not sexy. And if you run into the Tim Duncans of the world, and if he is wired like Tim Duncan, Miami's not going to be important to him. And so if the environment is not necessarily the driving factor, right? Because Anthony Davis wanted to be a Laker. Shaq wanted to be a Laker. Players that have had to leave the smaller markets, they had a craving to go to a bigger market, a bigger team, bigger city, all that stuff that comes with it. And so that's where we are, that we're at the point that if we risk, which I think it is kind of risky, because I think he is kind of wired like Tim Duncan, which is sad. I mean, I don't mean it that way, but you know what I mean, okay? I don't mean it, it's sad for us is what I mean. It's good that he's wired the right way, that he's grounded and those kind of things. And that's the problem. He's grounded. There isn't enough materialistic visions for him that are driving him to go elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we have to root for him to lose now. We have to root for him to have a bad experience in the playoffs. We have to root for him to sit there going, I like the people in Milwaukee. It's a really nice city. People are great with me, but I don't think I'm going to win a championship here, and I want to win a championship. So we'll find out. Don't forget, by the way, to give us a thumbs up while you're watching. Also, the YouTube link, share it with people. Share it with a friend of yours on Twitter, on a text, Facebook, all that good stuff. Give people the heads up that we are here, baby, every single day. Talking a little deportes. What do we have here on the chat board? Let's see. Can't win a championship as long as James is in the league. Well, yeah, but they're not ready yet to win a championship this year anyway, so I'm not worried about it right now. Big O, 3 in a row. Hopefully they got it turned around. We will see, my friend, in the next couple games if they actually turned it around. That will be a very nice test. Let's see. All right. Somebody's asking about Boogie Cousins. I don't think you signed Boogie Cousins. I'm not a Boogie Cousins guy. I don't think you really need Boogie Cousins, to be honest with you. It never really works out with Boogie Cousins. Have you noticed that? Nobody really gains anything from him. And he ends up getting injured anyway. And look, the Lakers signed him, and now they don't even need him, and they discarded him. I just don't think that's the option for the Miami Heat. I'd rather stay away from that guy. Plus, the story I read with the domestic violence issue, I think that's something you want to stay away from when it comes to Boogie Cousins. Just, he can say whatever he wants about, hey, I'm against it, but when you say those kind of words, I just would rather not take the chance, to be honest with you. I'd rather stay away from all of this. Yesterday, by the way, Milwaukee scored a season-low 89 points in that game. So not only did they lose to Miami for a second time this year, first time they lose to one team twice this year, they also scored their lowest. Now, this was 3 games in 4 nights for them. Back-to-back road games also for them. So this is what they call in the NBA a schedule win. And I don't want to ride this too much because it takes away from the Heat, which is not fair. And the Heat played a hell of a game last night, man. And I got to give them a ton of love for the way they played. But we also have to be honest. This was their 3rd game in 4 nights, and the last 2 were on the road. And that's not an easy thing for any team to have to deal with that. And you're kind of worn out when you play your 3rd game in 4 nights, and the back end of that is a back-to-back road set. You know what I mean? And so that's why it kind of becomes a little. See, it's nice to think, well, maybe they match up well for them against them, and they can beat them in the playoffs. That sounds really good in theory, but I also have to remind you over and over again that the regular season really means nothing. Just because you beat a team in the regular season doesn't mean you own them and you figured them out, and in the playoffs you're going to have the same kind of success. More often than not, you don't have the same kind of success in basketball because the regular season is a different monster. It's handled differently, and then different nights have different meanings. If they're playing Milwaukee on the first night of that 3-game 4 nights at home, and they beat them, then it looks a lot better for you. You know what I mean? But even saying that, it doesn't guarantee you anything in the playoffs. Okay? Whatsoever. But the Heat deserve every bit of credit for last night. I just have to point it out because you have to be fair, and you have to point out Miami also had 3 games in 4 nights. The thing is, they weren't and they were all home. But the difference is they were on a back-to-back night. They were resting, and then they played the game after they had played back-to-back nights against New Jersey and against Dallas. Then they had a night off, and then they played Milwaukee, but they were home the entire set. So technically, both teams were playing 3 games in 4 nights. The difference is one was on the road, the other one was at home in that set, and that's where, obviously, that changes for the Milwaukee Bucks, having said all that. Anyway, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, that's 786-322-1105. Nice job by Goran delivering the blow to one of the Milwaukee players on the drive. That looked like that hurt big time, dude. I mean, he got him right in the family jewels, and my man was folded over. He was on the floor for a while. That there was even a transition basket, and the Heat was dunking on the other end. And my man was just on the floor like, I got better things to worry about right now. I got more important things to worry about right now. And there's a part of me because I never know, because these guys are so talented. I just was there any of that was done on purpose to George Hill? I'm just saying. Was there a little some going on between Dragon and George Hill? Or was that just a complete coincidence that Dragon on his way up just nailed him in the private parts, which I mean, we all saw. Everybody sees stars when you see that, right? You can watch it in a movie. You can watch it on TV in a basketball game. But whenever you do see it, it kind of affects you too. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things that you see. No, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Oh, I'm feeling it. That's what ends up happening. You just kind of sensed it.
The pain travels
Oh.
and seeks out the viewer. If you are of the same sex, you're feeling it as well.
Anybody that's been kicked in the nuts, you don't forget that feeling at all. You never forget that feeling. So when you see somebody else get kicked in the nuts, that feeling comes back. And that's the feeling like I don't want to have ever again. I don't want to experience that feeling ever again. Okay? And listen, we all grow up in an era where you're with your buds and you're playing the BAM game where you just hit each other in the nutsack, which I had never understood that game. I was not a big fan of that game. Okay, anybody that tried to start that
Hells
game,
to the no.
yeah, and whenever they tried to start that game with me, I warned them. I said, "Dude, you want to fight?" I'm just saying, because that's we're fighting. That's not a joke. I'm not playing that game. Okay. Well, we had a girl in our neighborhood that would hit you all the time if she got mad at you. That's what she would aim for. That wasn't very nice of her.
I just stopped playing with that girl. Go find another girl to play with.
We did not want to play with her at all. We did not want to play with her at all. I wonder if she's still chasing him nowadays. 786-322-1105, because, there might have been something behind that whole thing, why she was hitting him. I don't know. Never understood that one. That was not a game that I was ever a fan of.
Maybe she grew up.
Yes. NorCal is chiming in. Good morning, Big O Show and listeners worldwide. Go Gators says the Big Three era, the Nets and Celtics with Garnett and Pierce, gave Miami trouble until the postseason came. You're right. Bucks will probably sweep Miami in the playoffs. I don't know about sweep. Maybe Miami wins one. But I do know this. I never use the regular season in the NBA as a measuring tool on what's going to happen in the regular in the playoffs. Never.
The biggest thing we have going for us in the playoffs, bottom line, we know, is coach, because he can make adjustments.
Right.
And that's what it is about a series in a playoffs. It's about adjusting from night to night.
Yep. Joe Latufo says, I love you guys. Well, thank you, Joe. We love you also. Go Gators says, nut shots are like voodoo dolls to all men. I'm with you, man. That's just that was a game I was never a fan of. Flipside fishing, you could feel the pain to your belly button. Yes. Go Gator says, I accidentally dropped my TV remote on my nuts and almost puked one time. Yeah, man. Oh, when you hit yourself accidentally in the nuts, that's the worst. Oh, man. Yeah. That's not a lot of fun. I'm with you there. That's an experience I like to stay away from. No need to see stars. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lot of fun. All right, let's take a quick break. Let me tell you about Toyota of Hollywood. We'll be there on Thursday, like we are every Thursday, hanging out with Steve Ostrob and Herbie and Eddie and all the great people out there, Gary Thompson, Rick, just some great people out there at Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. Folks, they've got all kinds of great deals out there. They've got 0% financing for 72 months. And when you've got over 1,500 cars and trucks, that allows you, the customer, because if you're looking for a specific Corolla, there's a good chance you're going to find it there. But if you're looking for a certain color, there's a lot of dealerships that just don't give you a great selection. So then you're settling. You know what I mean? You don't want to settle. I mean, come on. My wife settled for me 26 years ago. Poor woman. You don't want to do those kind of things. Okay? You want to pick the car, you want the color, you want the model, you want the style you want, but more importantly, the price you want. And you'll get it at 1841 North State Road 7. Tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you. Toyota of Hollywood.
Plus tax tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19. Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when you and used. 50% less. Pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. Pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. Pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street, open till midnight.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Running the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we are rocking and rolling as always. We got a bunch of guests today on the program. Manny Navarro will join us at 1 o'clock, and he will have our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. Mike DeRocco is going to join us at 2 o'clock. They've got a disgruntled player in Jacksonville, and also there's a story on them trying – they want to trade Nick Foles. I found that to be that's comical, right? I mean, you want to trade Nick Foles? This is what I said. Maybe the XFL is interested. I mean, that's about it. They can't handle the salary, but they'll take him. Maybe they'll give you Landry Jones. What the hell? And you can get his broken down ass to go over there and quarterback for you in Jacksonville. I mean, you're going to try to trade Nick Foles. When Nick Foles was available in free agency and the Jags signed him to that big-ass contract, I mean, come on, man. You definitely did not have a straight face. You were laughing your ass off, just like I was, that they signed that dude. Right? It's the only way to look at it. How the hell do you sign Nick Foles to that giant contract and give him that guaranteed money?
If I'm not mistaken, his career regular season record was like 21-20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing.
But he lives off the championship because, all of a sudden, look, only the delusional Eagle fans, okay, actually think he's a really good quarterback. Nick Foles is a great guy, man. Let me tell you, great guy. Okay? Met him. His dad is super cool. Okay? But, again, nice guy syndrome. We fall into this whole thing. He's a Jag. He's just a backup. And then he became a Jag. A Jag that became a Jag. And in Jacksonville, since Mark Brunell, they have no idea what a real quarterback looks like. I mean, they committed to Blake Bortles, and now they gave Nick Foles a giant contract. And come on, the porn stash has more quarterback ability in him than Nick Foles does. I see the porn stash, and at least the porn stash has, a pocket awareness. He's crafty back there. He'll make plays out of nothing that when things break down, you have a chance with him. These kind of guys that are just Jags, it's just, it's the whole Teddy Bridgewater thing all over again. Like if you want to be delusional and think that your offense is actually going to take off with Teddy Bridgewater, you're a moron. And Nick Foles, now you want to trade him? I mean, who's stupid to trade for Nick Foles? You got to be it's like I told you yesterday with Andy Dalton. There's 3 teams out there that might be trading for Dalton. If I'm a Bears, Colts, or Patriots fan, I am running to church and praying every day that they don't make that. Why would I want that move? Like that gives me no hope whatsoever. Same thing here. We want to trade Nick Foles. If you hear your favorite team is trading for Nick Foles, what do you think? You're going like, what the F are you guys doing? And he won a Super Bowl. But that's the problem. What you see isn't really what it is. It's kind of like watching Tannehill ride Derrick Henry's coattails. Yet there's some of you out there that actually think Ryan turned some corner or something like that. Media members, NFL people get suckered by it. I mean, it's really amazing. And NFL people, let me tell you, they're not all smart. That's why they sign Nick Foles to big-ass contracts. That's why they draft Blake Bortles. They know what they have in them, and then they still extend it. The level of stupidity when it comes to the quarterback position in Jacksonville is immense. Now, they're just hoping somebody's just as stupid as they are and that they would actually trade for Nick Foles. Like, what are you giving up for Nick Foles? You're going to give up a pick and you're going to also pay that salary? Come on, man. Nick, we'd like to rework your deal. We'd like to trade for you, but we want to pay you about $1 million. Are you all right with that? Nick Foles. And Nick is like, he's loving life right now because they can't cut him. Because then the cap hit that they would take would probably be brutal. trading Nick Foles. How about, and that franchise, you think about this, a couple of years ago where that defense was with Blake Bortles. If you're able to come off that season and get rid of Bortles and get a real quarterback, you might have been able to take that advantage of that window. Now, you've lost several players from that defense. It's no longer the dominant defense that it's been. You're one of your best players on defense left now wants to leave, and you don't have a quarterback. I mean, maybe Gardner Minshew can turn into that guy. I can't give up on that kid. I got to give him a break. Nick Foles, I never had any hope for him to be a starting quarterback. I didn't have starting quarterback for Nick Foles when he was starting in Philadelphia and leading him to a Super Bowl. I knew that was fluky. I try to explain to some of you out there that stuff, it just, you can't fall for it all the time. And I remember when Matt Flynn had a couple of games for the Packers, I had several Dolphin fans. Oh, no, we got to trade for him. No, you don't. No. Stay away from it. Nick Foles, they're going to try to trade him. I love it. Man of 1,000 holes says Nick Foles equals Tannehill, needs the perfect situation to succeed. Yep. When everybody was laughing about Jacksonville, what about us when we draft Rosen? Well, first of all, sir, they didn't draft Rosen. They traded for Rosen. Okay? And Rosen is a throw-in. They made a second-rounder into 2 second-rounders. And they did not give Rosen millions and millions up front like they gave Nick Foles. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to make a comparison, make a fair comparison. Okay? Look, I get it. What's Miguel Garcia? Maybe you're not a Dolphins fan and you just want to take a shot or something, or you're just a frustrated Dolphins fan, but your frustrations are blinding you. The Rosen situation is completely different than Nick Foles. The Jags can't cut Nick Foles. They're stuck with him because of all that money. Miami's not stuck at all with Rosen. They tried it. It's not working. They cut him. They move on. It's a pick that they created out of thin air. And guess what? They'll get another quarterback this year. And if that fails, they'll get another one next year. That's the kind of organization I want. I don't know about you, Miguel, but I want my organization drafting quarterbacks every year. You're going to miss on them all the time, but eventually you'll hit on one. I would love for them to hit on every quarterback they've ever picked or drafted, but that's just not reality. Okay? Matt Geiger says, trade the 5 pick to a predictably bad team for a 2021 first-rounder to increase chances of getting the top pick. There you go. The fantasy trade. You guys do realize that all of these trades you guys come up with, none of them ever come to fruition. You guys also realize that the teams are never listening to any of your trades. Let's trade the 18th pick along with our second and our 4th rounder, and we'll move up 4 or 5 spots so we can get Jordan Love. Well, how do you know that team wants to move down? And how do you know what you're offering is enough? I mean, it's just some of you out there, you have way too much time on your hands. Like, way too much time. When you're coming up with these bogus-ass trades, understand, none of them ever happen. You all sit there and you do your own mock drafts. By the way, you're never right on any of your mock drafts. Do you know why? You can't think like 32 different general managers from one round to another to another. But it's funny that you guys come up with these crazy-ass trades. It's entertaining. It goes nowhere whatsoever. You're wasting your time, but it is entertaining. I do laugh at it. I thought Bill was a South Floridian. How did he become a Chicago Bears fan? He is a South Floridian. He just, likes to root for like 8 teams. He has also the Yankees. He's had the Reds over time and the Marlins. He's got like 8 teams. In every sport, he's got
The
like
Reds
7 or 8
go back
teams.
to when I was a little kid, man.
See what I mean?
My first favorite.
See, he rides
When we got the
red
Marlins,
machine,
dropped them.
and then he rides the Marlins 97 and 203, and then he rides all
I've
Yankees
been a Marlins from
27.
day one, man.
Yeah,
I went to every one of their first game, their first night game, the
what I mean?
following night, the first time they played every team.
Ask him.
Been
He's
there.
got like 8 hockey teams. Like the man is never out of the Stanley
No,
Cup
that
playoffs.
was the Islanders, and then the Islanders dropped because of the Panthers. Well, dude, you had to adopt. We didn't have our own. We didn't have a choice.
He's got like 4
You
other
were a
teams, that's all I do.
Philadelphia guy.
Yeah, of course. Phillies, Flyers, and Sixers, because I didn't have the Heat, the Marlins.
Dude,
and
exactly.
the
I did the
Panthers. So I
same. But you
dropped all
got
of
to
them.
adopt when you don't have your own.
No, but you still have them. Still ride them.
No. Everybody's dropped except for the Yankees. The only
And
one
the,
are the
and the
locals.
Bears.
And, well, dude, my Bears go back to Dick Buckus when I was 4 years old.
There you go. You see? There you go. See, he's got like 8 teams.
It was Dick Buckus, Larry Zonka, Walter Payton.
One team,
in
baby.
that order. Oh, and then Marino.
One team. Dolphins. One team. Miami Heat. One team. Panthers. One team. Marlins. One team. Inter Miami. One team. Canes. Right here. One team. None other.
It's all local except for Yankees and Bears. Those are the
See?
only additions. That's it.
Yeah. If the Lakers make it, it'll be a LeBron fan this week. I mean, it's just
Never, ever, never, ever let
Yeah,
the
weather
Lakers
is
lose
hell,
at
dude.
underwater basket weaving if they ever compete at that.
This guy goes like he's in every championship. It's like whatever. Shows up. The Niners are there. He's got a Niners hat on. It's really amazing.
No, never.
Dominic says, you know what would be fun? Let's all submit a mock the day of the draft and compare it to yours, Big O. Okay. I only would do mocks when they forced me to do them at the station. Josh says, what up, guys? It's like Fantasyland making those believe trades. LOL. Oh, yeah. Always. Dwayne Hadley says, Dade County, baby. That's right, Dwayne. It's all about hometown. Nico chiming in, morning, boys. How about them Heat smothering Giannis last night? Damn right. Damn Skippy. Appreciate all of you. Remember to give us a thumbs up. Share this YouTube link with a friend of yours. Send it to him on a text. Send it to her on a text. Say, hey, check it out. We're talking balls. That's it. That's all. And they're like, what? Check it out. We're talking Dolphins. Check it out. We're talking about Bill and his 87 teams that he roots for. That kind of stuff. So, fill the folks in on real sports talk here in South Florida, which is a beautiful thing. Every day. Manny Navarro will join us at 1 o'clock, so we'll have a little fun with Manny. Remember, we got spring football going on right now, so De'Aaron King is on the field, and we'll talk to him about De'Aaron King, and we'll get his thoughts on what he doesn't really get to see a lot, but what he hears and things like that in our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report, which is a beautiful thing. How about the Tom Brady news? All right, let's get into a little Tom Brady talk here because it changes every day, right? And the reports in the media are awesome. Oh, the Dolphins, everybody has given up on the team. Everybody wants to get traded. Oh, they're tanking. All these, false reports, right? And reporters, getting suckered into stories like, well, Miami got the cold shoulder gave the cold shoulder to Tua, all this ridiculous stuff. So the stories were, Tom Brady, I think Jeff Darlington was saying, well, I'd be surprised if he comes back, all of that stuff. Well, now the word is that Tom Brady and the Patriots, they are not parting ways yet. They're not ready to say goodbye. They are still, communicating. Tom Curran, who is very well connected, in these circles. He explains that no, Brady and the Patriots aren't engaged in a Cold War. The Patriots want Tom Brady to play quarterback for them in 2020, Curran writes. There are financial hoops to jump through. There are personal obstacles to clear. Understandings on both sides need to be reached, but the Patriots want to try and make that happen. So, it's not dead yet. I still think he plays there. I told you I'd be shocked if he doesn't play there, and fine. I've been wrong 1,000 other times. I'll be wrong another 1,000 times in the next week. I still think he plays there when it's all said and done. You know, to me, if
that would be great. We'd be able to finish him off.
Right.
I love that idea that seed you planted a while back. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's be the one.
Yes, I would love to see Miami take him down and watch him lose the throne to the Dolphins in a Patriots uniform. That would be my dream. And I think it's going to happen if he stays because I think the Dolphins are on a rise. I really do. I know it sounds crazy to a lot of you out there after what you've seen from the Dolphins the last 20, 25 years. I just really feel there's a turn coming. I really do. I think we got the right football people in place, and they'll prove it. And you know, time will answer. Again, been wrong 1,000 times in the past. We'll be wrong again, and hopefully I'm not. But I just have a really good feeling finally about the Dolphins and where they're going. But this whole thing here, see, this is what makes sense. It doesn't really make sense for him to leave. Even though I do think the Titans are like the perfect spot for him, actually. But you want to finish there because of that history that you have there. And it's not like it hasn't worked out. Belichick figures out a way to put the right talent around you more often than not. I know this year he lacked a lot on offense that they needed, and they didn't have a lot of offensive firepower, and he was frustrated with it. And I think that's what Curran talks about when he says there are personal obstacles to clear. That's probably Brady saying, hey, I need more help here, here, and here. And I'm sure they're going to have some kind of a plan to try to accomplish this. Remember, the owner loves Brady. The owner is the guy that pretty much had Garoppolo out the door and got him forced and traded to San Francisco, which may not have been the right move and the smart move, but it is what it is, and you're in this position now. So if you're the owner and you got rid of Garoppolo just 2 years ago, are you going to then lose your franchise guy 2 years later? That doesn't make a lot of sense for the owner. Now, I told you about this, and I don't know if this is what's happening behind the scenes. Again, I don't have any insight here. I'm just kind of, feeling out the process. But let's just say Belichick lost his power struggle 2 years ago, that he wanted to start to go in the Garoppolo direction, but the owner wasn't ready, and he wanted to keep Brady, and he said, let's just trade Garoppolo, let's stay with Brady. And then maybe that's when Belichick says, all right, but when this happens again, you got to give me my opportunity to do what I think is right. And maybe that's what's going on here, too. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe the owner would like to bring Brady back, but he's got to defer to Belichick because he overrid Belichick the last time 2 years ago in the Garoppolo move, and maybe this time he's like, well, I got to give Bill his due here. And if he thinks it's time to move on, then it's time to move on, and we've got to, pull a scab off. And like we said, last week, these things never really end pretty most of the time. We'll find out. I don't know where this power struggle is going. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And with that video over the weekend with Edelman saying, oh, yeah, he's coming back, and Brady looked at the camera and goes, no. And I don't know if he was FaceTiming with Mike Vrabel or not or whatever. Who knows?
Did you see how many people tried to lip read and do all? It's like, man, come on.
Yeah. I mean, that's the craziness of this whole thing for him.
They need to get that girl from Seinfeld that Kramer was dating.
Oh, yeah. 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 Let's see. Ty says, I hate all New York teams except Devils and Islanders. Let's see. Gus 1388 says, all trades, mental masturbation. Yes, they are. But, man, people love coming up with these funky trades. Nico says, Tom Brady has become such a media bitch. He used to be so private. Now he can't keep to himself from trolling fans in the media every week. Get over yourself, man. You had your worst statistical season. Josh says, nobody knows where Tom Brady is going to end up, but my prediction will be Patriots. I don't see him end up on another team. I'm with you, Josh. I think he ends up in the Patriots. And I want him to end up in the Patriots. I do. I know our beloved Dolphins aren't ready to challenge for any Super Bowl or even the division right now going into next year. But in another year or two, that's when things start to change. And if he's still around, I would take so much pride in watching the Dolphins bury Belichick and Brady and the Patriots and take over the division. Be awesome. Be fantastic. Richard Casillas says the AFC is better with Brady on the Pats, so we can dethrone the Patriots. There you go, Richard. You're thinking like I am. And Ian from Brooklyn says, yep, stay with the Pats so we can bash your face mask in. I love it. See, a lot of you are thinking like me. I don't want them to just go away and then then there's an excuse of their demise. Well, Brady's left and that's why what? No, man. Stay. I want to see the Dolphins bury your old ass. And it's going to happen. I'm just saying. All right, let me tell you a little bit about EJD Construction. Eric and John have been at this for a long, long time. Not a handyman. I'm talking about custom home construction, major home remodeling. You want it done right. You want to have that man cave done right, the kitchen, whatever it is. Listen, call Eric right now. Here's his cell phone, 305-318-4978, and they use Shell Construction in-house. That's how they keep their costs down, which is passed on to you folks. And not a fly-by-night company. He didn't pick up a couple of guys at Home Depot and then show up at your house. That's not how they do it. They roll because they're professionals, man. They do it the right way. And call them right now, 305-318-4978. Tell them that Big O sent you. Call Eric right now and John at EJD Construction.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Plus tax tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19. Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street, open till midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty, we are back. We take you, of course, till about 3 o'clock if you want to get in, or maybe 2:30 or something like that. If you want to get in on the program, many ways to reach out to us. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you can chime in there, any of your questions, your comments. You can also send it in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in there. And you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. So Peter King reports that Joe Burrow, in his meeting with the Bengals, he's the guy that mentioned, hey, are you guys going to keep A.J. Green around? He would be good to have around. And, we talked about this story about A.J. Green getting tagged. So now Peter King kind of reveals where that came from. And you guys want the Dolphins to keep talking, right? Right? You guys want the Dolphins to keep talking like they used to back in the past. But now that Flores is there and he plays the game the right way, some of you idiots out there want the Dolphins to go back to doing stupid things. You also want the Dolphins to sign a 32-year-old free agent and give him a 4-year contract and $40 million up front. You want to do that too? It's amazing, really. It's like when that Tua story came out that he got the cold shoulder. Goody for his ass. I hope everybody gets a cold shoulder. I hope everybody has no idea what the hell the Dolphins are doing. That way I know the Dolphins know what they're doing. It's really freaking amazing. Anyway, so as we see, you talk, it gets out. Right? And so now the Bengals, whatever Joe Burrow said, not that he has any leverage whatsoever, because he has none whatsoever, but it does behoove them to bring back a perennial Pro Bowl type player to help in the development of your young quarterback, especially a big-ass dude like that if he stays healthy, that's the thing about, I feel bad for the kid, because he's not winning anything there anyway. AJ, and you figure, I'm always injured. Man, I want to get out of here. Maybe I can play with a good team. I could go to the New Orleans Saints, play opposite of Michael Thomas, have a shot at a championship, and maybe my body holds up for a year, and I get that championship, and I can at least enjoy the pinnacle of my sport. Now he's stuck in Cincinnati. I got to tell you something. If I'm A.J. Green, now, catch-22 here. I'm A.J. Green. I'm pissed that I'm stuck in Cincinnati. Right? Because you got to be pissed you're stuck in Cincinnati. But not only are you pissed that you're stuck in Cincinnati, it's probably on a 1-year deal. It's not a long-term contract. Now, because you're so injury-prone, I don't know what kind of long-term contracts were out there waiting for A.J. Green. I would imagine a lot of teams are going to protect themselves and say, hey, we can give you bonuses, but as the year goes on, you've got to be healthy when the league year starts to be eligible for this bonus. You know, that kind of like he'll get like $7 million guaranteed, and he'll get 21 over 3 years guaranteed, but he has to be healthy at the start of the league year, which is usually March 5, 7, 10, whatever the hell the number is. And then you get that bonus because you're healthy. But if you got injured the year before and all that stuff, they can cut you and they don't have to pay the bonus. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. I have no idea what he had out there. I don't think he was going to have a lot. Maybe a team that feels they're one wide receiver away from really taking their team to the next level. Maybe they give him a little money up front, but not a lot. But at least if you're A.J. Green, you would have had the opportunity to say, you know what, let me go play with New Orleans. They got a shot. Maybe I can get there. Let me go to Kansas City for a year. Let me go maybe a couple Seattle, a couple places that they have some cap issues. They can't give you a ton of money, but they can give you decent money, and you got a shot at a title. And after everything you've been with Cincinnati, you know you're not going to win a title there. You have no shot at a title there. By the way, while they're going to tag A.J. Green, did you see that Cody Glenn is also on the trading block, their offensive lineman? So you're drafting a quarterback, but you're going to get rid of a tackle? Mike Brown. Anyway, I just, if I'm A.J. Green, I'm a little pissed that this, punk that's just about to come into this league has, told these idiots to sign me, to tag me, to keep me around. And I get it for Joe Burrow's purposes, but you're getting in the way of that poor man. He's been stuck there for years, dude. It's like Joe Burrow is stuck somewhere, and he wants to take you with him. It's like Nino Brown, right? When Nino Brown was finally caught, they busted his ass there at the Carter, right? And then they got him in trial, and he's like, well, if I'm going, I'm taking everybody with me. That's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's Nino Brown. If I'm going to get drafted by the Bengals, I'm taking everybody with me. No, AJ, you're not getting away. Come back here. Come back. You're not leaving me alone in this hellhole. I can't be here with John Ross. His punk ass can't stay healthy. Little soft ass 4-3 receiver. Poor A.J. Green, man. That poor guy. That poor bastard. He can't get out. Just when I thought I got out, they suck me right back in. So that hand of Joe Burrow grabbing A.J. Green and bringing him back to the hellhole that is the Cincinnati Bengals. Too funny, man. Too funny. I feel bad for the guy. I really do. That's one where, man, I saw that story. It's like, really? This dude's like, okay, you need to keep A.J. Green. I need him here. It's hilarious. That is awesome. Oh, the other story after A.J. Green that Peter King reported was Jameis Winston. So Jameis Winston, according to Peter King, they are going to move on from Jameis Winston. The 30 interceptions, according to Jenna Lane, has been something of a hurdle for them to get over. They can't get over the fact that he throws 30 interceptions. They, according to Jenna, they know they can't win that way. And so they're kind of dead set on trying to see what other options are out there. And I commend them for this. I do, because it takes a lot of guts, even though he's really talented. And the dude can ball at times. I mean, he can. There's no doubt he has a lot of ability. But, man, he is just catastrophically stupid out there on the field. He makes throws that are just unforgivable. And you can't win that way. And you've had all this time. What are you going to do? Keep it going for another year? And your team gets older and your window's closed. Not that their window of opportunity is wide open and they're a championship caliber team, but that defense is getting better. That team is getting better. And Shaq Barrett is the guy that they have to tag. Remember the guy that some of you out there wanted for the Dolphins? But I told you, let's wait and find out who's going to get tagged so then we don't waste our time talking about different people and then they're not even eligible. And Shaq's not going to be eligible. He's not going to be available, so Miami will never have a chance at him. Okay? This is why I tell you, we got to wait for a certain time for us to actually really talk about free agency. And I just find it ballsy. And I commend them on doing this because you've got to part ways with Jameis. Look, we saw what Miami did every year bringing back Ryan. And those of us that kind of had some common sense, we knew what the end result was going to be. He is what he is. He's not going to get any better. And so that's what you have to look at with Jameis. Yeah, he has the wow factor, but he also has the ugh factor. And it shows up way too damn much. And you need to have a quarterback that takes care of the football. Jameis Winston is not that guy. Now, maybe Jameis Winston figures it out. Here's the question I have for you out there. Those of you that are watching right now on YouTube, you can send in your answer. Those of you that are watching or listening, send it in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. Let's just say Tampa cuts him. Who should pick him up? Who's the quarterback guru out there? Because Bruce Arians is pretty good with quarterbacks. And he can't fix him. So who's the team that needs a quarterback, one, and two, has the offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach, guru, whatever, that can possibly reach him, is the question I have for all of you out there. Because somebody's going to be intrigued with the talent. Somebody's going to say, I can work with this. Who? I have somebody. I do. I have one team that I think should pick him up, and it's going to blow you away. Bill Belichick and the Patriots. I know, right? Isn't it weird? That culture, that guy, and Jameis, wow, doesn't look like it'll fly. And it probably won't. But if you're going to move on from Tom Brady and a talent like Jameis Winston becomes available, even though he's a catastrophic knucklehead on the field and does some really stupid-ass stuff, but if you're Belichick and you feel you can fix it, isn't that the guy you go after because he's got the most upside of anybody that's available in free agency? Because he's still young. Okay? Don't get me wrong. It's not like I want the Patriots to do well. In fact, by getting him, maybe you'll throw more interceptions. And more of them to Dolphin corners, I hope. But I'm just saying, if there's a team out there that has worked with several quarterbacks over the years, from Tom Brady to Garoppolo to Ryan Mallett to Castle to Hoyer, I might be missing one. Oh, Jacoby Brissett. I mean, there's been a ton overall during his tenure there. So why not go after Jameis Winston if he becomes available and you lose Tom Brady, obviously Winston I don't think is going to go to back up Tom Brady, but if you're losing Brady and you're the Patriots, do you go after Jameis Winston? Does it make sense to you? Right? Then the other team that I have out there that I think should go for him is the Colts. Frank Reich is a quarterback guy. And Jacoby Brissett is just a guy. He's nothing special. So you try and take the chance and you bring Jameis Winston in there. And if you can figure him out, if you can keep him away from the turnovers, you got yourself a hell of a quarterback. And again, if you're the Patriots or the Colts and you fail, it doesn't matter. I'll give you another one. The Chicago Bears. They like their quarterback to move around. Jameis can move around. They have a turnover-prone quarterback anyways in Mitch Trubisky. So why not bring in Jameis Winston, open up the competition between the two, and if Jameis beats out Trubisky, you got your guy. Well, I shouldn't have said it that way. If he beats out Trubisky and puts his head on right and limits the turnovers to maybe 10 or 15 instead of 30, you got your guy. Because just because you beat out Trubisky doesn't mean you're the guy. Okay? That doesn't fly that way. But if Jameis is gone, there's a couple of teams that should seriously think about him and say, yeah, this is an opportunity here. This is a guy that maybe I can turn around. That's what Matt Nagy should be thinking. That's what Frank Reich should be thinking. That's what Bill Belichick should be thinking. Listen, let's not kid ourselves. Because he's so gifted, somebody's going to take a chance. Somebody's going to say, I am the guy to make Jameis Winston a quarterback and keep him away from being a knucklehead. It's going to happen for sure. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. JJ says, Bills are the best team in the AFC East. They have tons of salary cap room and picks. Yes, JJ, but they don't have a quarterback in Josh Allen. Now, if you want to believe in Josh Allen, knock yourself out. I think Josh Allen sucks. So he will not get it done. What else do we have? Peter says, I have a Gene Simmons vault for sale, by the way. Thanks for that. That's what Peter says. Well, enjoy, Peter. Let's see. That prima donna peanut brittle Tua still butt hurt about the way Flores and Greer treated him. Man, I don't worry about that. That's a silly-ass story. Let's see. Josh says, I see the Jets are going for another QB next year. Well, who knows? We'll see. Richard says, Big O, would you take a flyer on Winston? I personally would not. No, I would not. Now, those other teams, they should. Why? The Bears are a quarterback away from a championship. The Colts are a quarterback away from making a nice run in the AFC. And the Patriots, if they find their quarterback, obviously that guy knows how to build, players and teams around a quarterback. And so Miami is still a couple of years away, and you need a quarterback that's going to kind of carry things and lead and do leadership type things to help develop players. Jameis is not that guy. So Jameis in this environment could make it worse. I'd rather you go out and get your developmental quarterback and go get, Jordan Love or Tua or whatever you're going to get in the draft and work on that instead, along with Rosen and Fitz,
and keep moving in that direction. The other teams have a different agenda, and that's why I say they should get Jameis.
The only thing about Jameis going to New England likes smart football players, smart players.
And he is smart. He is smart.
He's book smart.
He's smart.
But he's...
No, I know. He does stupid things on the field.
And that's...
Yeah. But hold on a second. They drafted and kept Ryan Mallett on their team for several years. And Ryan Mallett is a bigger knucklehead than Jameis Winston.
Okay.
So and Ryan Mallett had a gun, so he had a lot of ability, and so it's still this is the team that brought Albert Hainsworth over, and then they had to cut him, but they brought that knucklehead over too. Okay.
AB last year, they tried
AB. They brought that knucklehead over. So if you're a talented knucklehead, they are going to take a chance on you because coaches always feel like I'm the guy that can reach him.
You can do the turn around.
I can turn him around. I can make him a player. I can make him mature. I can make him this. So New England is just as guilty as anybody else. I mean, Corey Dillon worked out. He was a malcontent in Cincinnati, and then ended up obviously playing well for New England, and it worked out. Randy worked out also until he started bitching about money, and then they told him, get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? But it did work out for a short time. So
they were the most prolific quarterback to receiver touchdown combo.
Right, exactly. So he will take chances on characters. What
you were talking about Tampa being close? I think I heard 9 of their games they lost by 7 points or less.
Right, and if imagine the turnovers.
You take away the turnovers.
That's it.
If you cut them in half, if he has 15, you probably win.
Yeah, and 2-1 is not impressive.
No.
You know what I mean? Like touchdown interception ratio. No, it's not impressive.
If you have 5,000 yards,
it's solid. A lot. It's not impressive. It's solid. Impressive is when you start getting to 3 and 4 and 5-1. Go look at the elites.
Right.
Go look at the elites.
Of course.
Go look at the great quarterbacks in this league. It's not 2-1. Okay? Back in the day, 2-1 was acceptable. Now, 2-1 is not acceptable anymore. 2-1 is like, whatever, it's all right.
But if the guy throws for 67% complete for 5,000 yards, you probably can live with it.
It depends on what you did winning-wise with those throws. You know what I mean?
The timing
it just can't be
the
stats.
Timing of the interceptions.
Yeah, it can't be just stats. You know what I mean?
His timing of his interceptions were game costly.
Right, exactly. And there are plenty of quarterbacks that put up stats, and they're just hollow stats. They don't mean anything because in the key moments, you didn't show up, and then that becomes a real problem. So where Jameis Winston ends up is interesting because the potential's there, and it's intoxicating enough that you're going to see some teams that are on the cusp saying, I'm going to take that chance. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. 1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Locally, the Heat are off tonight. Tomorrow they will host Orlando at the AAA. The Panthers are off till Thursday when they get their asses kicked by the Bruins at the BB&T Center. And UM basketball is off tonight. Wednesday, they take on number 22 Virginia at 9 o'clock. It'll be on the ACC network, and, of course, it's at the Watsco Center. So if you want to go on down to the Watsco Center and cheer on the boys, you can do that. 9 o'clock tip for that one. That's some of the stuff that's going on locally. Hey, one thing I wanted to tell you about. One of our sponsors and friends of the program is Mike No-Go Zones, and you'll hear the commercials there. And Mike has a YouTube channel. And just the way it is, Mike No-Go Zones, okay? You can put Mike and then space and then put No-Go Zones. And it'll come out and you'll see like a world subscribe to it. Check it out. This is it's actually really cool because he goes to places like that they tell you can't go to, like Chicago, Baltimore, Oakland. What's it called? Opelika. He went to Syria, and the things you would see in Syria will blow you away. It's about to come out, the Syria episode, but go to subscribe to Mike No Go Zones. Check it out for yourself because I think it's really cool that he goes to these places that a lot of people say, well, wait a minute, you're putting your life at risk. In the Baltimore one, I watched it. He catches like a drug deal that was going on. It's all blurred, but they saw that he was walking around with a camera in the neighborhood. He walks around these like bad neighborhoods. But then he talks to the people and he hangs out and he goes to different places and kind of showing you that it's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be. Okay? And it's really, really cool. I can't wait to see the Syria episode. But I'm just saying, give him a chance. You're watching on YouTube now. Go put on the search engine, Mike No Go Zones, and subscribe to it and check it out and check out one of the episodes. Check out the Baltimore one. The Opelika one is actually, look, Opelika's right here in your backyard, and most of you never go to Opelika, and you may not know that there's like a really cool IPA bar there, but you'll find out when you watch the episode, like, oh, wait a minute, that's a cool place. Wow, everybody's hanging out, that's cool, and you might want to go there, So Mike also he lifts the curtain, and then at the same time, he makes you feel good about the situation. You're like, wow, man, really good people in all these neighborhoods that are working hard, having fun, running legitimate businesses, taking care of their community and things like that. It's actually a really cool thing that he's doing. Check it out, Mike No Go Zones. I thought it was really, really interesting. A real interesting concept that he's got there. Pallet Rack City has got something interesting. Don't you love a great rack? I mean, I love a great rack, right? I mean, great racks are awesome. They look fantastic. And when you go into your warehouse and everything's unorganized because you got boxes stacked on top of boxes and you got to move boxes to get the boxes, you need shelves, man, okay? You need racks is what you need. You need to call Eddie Pereira. He is the man. 305-887-9212 for Pallet Rack City. They sell pallet racks, hand trucks, dock boards, and most packaging supplies for your warehouse, folks. They buy and sell new and used pallet racking. They're your one-stop shop for all of your warehouse needs. Call Eddie Pereira. I'm telling you, you want to straighten out that warehouse. Tell him that Big O sent you. 305-887-9212 for Pallet Rack City.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Plus tax, tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19. Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than the original MSRP when you and use. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $3,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street, open till midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Providing the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Welcome back. We take you, of course, I don't know, sometime in the 2 o'clock hour. We should wrap it up here on the program, and then we will see you again tomorrow. Plenty of things to talk about. I see where
BSS tomorrow, by the way.
The coronavirus is changing all kinds of things. Did you see what the NBA is doing? So yesterday I told you guys a story, and I gave you my tip on what you should do to kind of help you in the coronavirus, right? And I told you that I went to a place to pick up some food. I gave them my credit card. They gave me a receipt, and I had to sign it. And I used her pen. And right away, it came to my head, okay, you know what? I need now I need to know that when I go to places that I may have to sign, because sometimes you don't have to sign. Sometimes it's just your card, and if you don't want the receipt back, you don't get it back, and just whatever, you walk away. But if you have to sign, take your own pen. Because right away I got to the car, and I used my my hand sanitizer, 70%, by the way, alcohol, and I used it right away because I was paranoid. Because I don't know, I don't want to catch this crap. I get it that it's a little bit worse than the common flu, but I still don't need to go through it. Dude, I just went through a kidney stone, and I'm still fighting the effects from my gout. Okay? I'm still not 100% yet. Right? And so for me, it's, those of you out there, you want to make fun of me, go ahead, man. I'm good. I don't care, man. You want to make fun of me overreacting? That's fine, but I'm telling you, you need to overreact a little bit. Okay? You have to. You got to protect. We got to make sure this thing doesn't spread, because it's going to get bad before it gets any better. You and I know that. Okay? That's what's going to happen here. There's no doubt in my mind that it's going to get worse. Now, listen to this. I don't know if you heard about this with the NBA. The NBA now is telling its players, okay, of limiting
they have a possibility of limiting or canceling pre-draft combines, on-site workouts, and international scouting events, depending on the extent of the outbreak. All right? So, they're also telling their players, they're recommending that they choose fist bumps over high fives with fans, and that players refrain from taking pens, ball, and jerseys from fans for autographs. How about that? I don't blame them. I don't know if you guys heard, but Lacuna Coil just canceled their Asian and Australian tours now because of the coronavirus. I mean, it's not a joke, man, and it's going to spread worse. So I wanted to bring it up because I think we should bring it up. I think we need to talk about it, and everybody needs to be well aware of what's going on.
The scenario
Protect yourself.
The scenario that would be horrible. You're healthy, you're strong, they're talking about, and you just get it. But then you go and you see an elderly person or somebody that has a weak, and you give it to them, and they pass away.
Right.
You know how horrible you would feel?
Yeah. Well, the NCAA said in a statement, in the wake of the emerging coronavirus pandemic, the NCAA and its colleges should take precautions to protect college athletes. They should also make public which actions will be taken and when. Precautions should include canceling all auxiliary events that put players in contact with crowds, such as meet and greets and press events. Athletic programs should also take every possible measure to sanitize buses and airplanes and use to transport players. In regard to the NCAA's March Madness tournament and other athletic events, there should be a serious discussion about holding competitions without an audience present. Okay? Google just canceled a summit in California, and Amazon is encouraging its employees also. I mean, this is something. Look, Amazon is encouraging its employees to avoid all non-essential travel because of the coronavirus concerns. The NCAA and its colleges must act now. There is no time to waste. There you go. So these are people that even want March Madness to get and if it spreads, they're going to start canceling these events because you have to. You just and you know what? Here's the worst part about it. You and I know that there's going to be a couple of irresponsible idiots with corona, and they're going to go out on their own to go spread it on purpose and do just horrible things so other people will get sick. You know that's going to happen. Guaranteed. But it shows you everything that's going on with it, that the extremes that we may be going to.
Schools need to get serious. Think about it.
Oh, yeah.
You get a bunch of people in the classroom environment, the cafeteria environment. Man, this is a perfect place to spread germs and for them because the person's right there next to you. Schools, if it got on a campus, my God, it would be horrible.
Yeah. I'm sure it's on a campus somewhere. I'm
Man,
sure it is.
I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too, but it's only inevitable that different people are going to be affected all throughout the country. It's Flipside Fishing says, is the virus going to affect the draft? I don't know, man, because we're still 6 weeks away. So we don't know how this thing will spread. Hopefully it doesn't spread badly and it's controlled and we're all good. That's what I'm hoping because, man, I want to go to that draft badly. And it's not even about Pearl Jam. It's great to see Pearl Jam in Oakland 2 nights before I go to Vegas. That's fantastic, and I'm going to love it. But it's not about that. It's, as a Dolphins fan, I got to tell you, listen, if you watch this show every day, listen to it every day, nobody's looked forward more to this past season and this offseason than I am. Nobody. I love what the Dolphins are doing. I think they're finally going in the right direction. I'm so excited about this draft because it's going to be the foundation for a killer future for us. I truly believe that. I'm not BSing you. I'm not trying to pump anything through you guys. You guys, I don't do that stuff. Okay, I tell you what I feel. And I don't want to miss this draft. I don't. I want to go. I want to be there. I want to enjoy this moment. I haven't had a lot of fun times with the Dolphins the last 20, 25 years. I have to go back to Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas and that bunch. And, they unfortunately didn't have any success in the playoffs. But I don't have a lot in the last 25 years. I have plenty when I was a teenager and I was a kid. Man, do I have a ton. My first 25 years of being a Dolphin fan was way better than the last 25. Let's put it that way. Let's see. Dolphins should go after Phillip Rivers. Nah. Oh, would you trade for a 26-year-old Pro Bowl guard, Trey Turner, for the Panthers? He has a cap-friendly contract. Okay, let's get into this because some of you out there, you brought this up. Trey Turner, by the way, for the Carolina Panthers, is a 5-time Pro Bowler. He has 2 years left at $20.5 million. So $10 million a year for a Pro Bowl guard. The question is, what do they want for him? I already told you that what kind of players do you acquire if you're the Dolphins? Mid-20 type of free agents. 25, 26, 27, right? This kid's 26. Right in the wheelhouse. There's a kid that you could bring him in and then extend him after a year. With a year left, you then extend his contract. Okay? Now, what do they want? What are you willing to give up? I probably won't go as high. I won't go any higher than a third. I'm not giving up a first or a second round pick. But because you have multiple thirds, I could give up a third-round pick for a guy like that. That's what I would do, no more than that. If I can get away with a fourth-rounder, fine, but I think a third-rounder, and remember, you're paying a salary, so that also affects you. Yeah, I would go there, not second or first. For a guard, there you go. That would be my, peak. So I like the player, no doubt. Although this is really weird by Carolina. Why are you trading this is weird. Like, you're in a rebuild, you have a young guard, and you're going to bring back Cam Newton. Don't you want to protect him? It's kind of odd, isn't it? If I have a quarterback, the one thing I definitely want to keep on my team all the time are linemen. Now, maybe they have a backup that I don't know about that they really, really like, and they think he's ready to take the next step or something. I'm not sure. But this is a new coaching staff. How would they know that guy's ready and be secured about it when they haven't been around the guy? You know what I'm saying?
It's more about the rebuild, and this is a guy they think they can get a plethora of stuff for.
Yeah.
So they're going to want to load up.
Yeah, and that's my problem there because, remember, you're going to have to give him a new contract in a year. So I can't go giving you a bunch of picks or a really high pick, and then I also have to pay a lot of money. No, I'd rather than go sign a free agent outright that I don't have to pay any compensation. That's why I told you, third rounder is where I'm going. That's it. If somebody wants to give us, listen, somebody might be making a playoff or a Super Bowl run, and they feel they're a guard away, and they give up the second rounder. Hey, kudos to them, man. Go for it. But if I'm the Dolphins, I'm not going any higher than a third-round pick for Trey Turner. That's it. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Big O, you just touched your nose. We all have to be self-aware for now. That's what Mark Banquisti said. Is it Bonaquisti? Is that how it's pronounced? Bonaquisti. Interesting name, Mark Bonaquisti. There you go. Flip
Watching
side
the show with heavy intent.
Yes. Flipside Fishing says it's the start of the new future. Amen, bro. Ray says vaccine is 1 year away at best. God help us. Well, no. Trump thinks they can turn it around like right away. That was funny. Like, yeah, no, we'll have it right away. We'll have it in the next week. It's like, dude, there's a
if you're
process.
doing that, where's cancer? Where's AIDS? Where
Yeah.
mental
Josh,
giant.
Especially at the end of the month with Ultra, it will spread. Oh yeah, no, not only that, dude. Ultra, they're coming from all over the world to that event. So who knows where it's coming from now? No. I don't know. Would you send your kids to Ultra now? Well, you know what? I think you can send your kids to Ultra if by the time we get to Ultra, it is controlled. If it continues to grow and spread, then you've got to limit everything. You've got to limit places where there's a lot of people. If it continues to spread, I mean, I've said this before. I'll walk around with a mask in certain places. Hell yeah. I'm not going to take any chances. No way. George Vidal says people screaming for a vaccine, but then they don't get a flu vaccine. That's true. Daniel says, why not draft 3 quarterbacks, second and third round? Well, why not draft 4? You know, why not draft every quarterback and then one of them will hit? That's all. Then we'll convert all the other ones to receivers. Right? It worked for Ryan. It'll work for everybody else. Okay? Yeah, you didn't cut it as a quarterback, but we're going to line you up at wide receiver now. And that's it. That's what you do. It's a beautiful thing. Let's see. What do we have here also on the program? And don't forget, you want to get in. It's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Did you guys see Gronkowski? You know Gronkowski was added to the top 100 of all time, right? So Gronkowski ends up getting a phone call from Roger Goodell. And Roger Goodell's calling him to congratulate him on making it to the top 100, right? Here is Rob Gronkowski getting that phone call, which, by the way, came with a number that he didn't recognize.
All right, so here we go. So I get a phone call from New York, and it's no caller ID, and I'm just sitting there like, man, I don't want to answer this phone call. Like I don't want to answer it. But you know, I'm bored. I'm sitting there debating, and so I don't answer. So then it calls back again, and I'm like, shit, I'll answer. I'm gonna mess around. Let me mess around with this phone call though. Like, so I answer. I'm like, hello, who is this? Hey, Rob, this is Roger Goodell. This is Roger Goodell. It's just Rob Gronkowski. And I was like, hello. And I'm just thinking, like, man, this is why I don't answer. People pranking me. Rob, this is Roger Goodell. I'm looking for Rob Gronkowski. Hello. Is Rob Gronkowski there? Hello. And I'm like, no, I just hang up. It ended up being him.
And then you're 100, right?
Yes, and then I called him back, called the office back that he told me to call, and I called him back and talked to him. He didn't bring up anything about that phone call.
That's amazing.
When I see him, I can't wait to bring it up. I can't wait to bring it up. I'm like, yo, who did you think that was? Going, hello,
I couldn't imagine Rob Gronkowski getting that honor in any other way.
Yes.
Like, that's the perfect story. Right, it is a perfect story. Only Gronk would do that right there. Just messy. Now, listen, I think a lot of us, I don't answer any calls that I don't. If there's not a name tied to it, then that means whoever's calling there is not somebody that normally calls me. They can leave the voicemail. They can send me a text, and then I can see who it is. I don't know about you guys, but I don't answer phone calls at all if I don't recognize the number. Hell, I don't recognize any numbers now. I'm sorry. If it doesn't tie to a name. I shouldn't say that anymore, right? I think I know my home number. I know my wife and my daughter's number. And that's about it. Oh, I know one of my friends, because he's had the same number for like 20 years. Okay, that's about it. This idiot's changed it a couple times, so I don't know it. But outside of that, I don't know anybody's number. So it has to be a name in there. That sucks, right? Remember back in the day? Like you knew everybody's number. You had to remember it. Now you don't even bother to remember a damn number. Now I remember Twitter handles. I don't remember your phone number. I know your Twitter handle. That's how we keep up with people now. It's their Twitter handle, not a phone number. That is awesome. That is fantastic. But Gronkowski gets the call from the commissioner, and he's playing a prank on the commissioner. And the commissioner's probably on the other end going, oh, man, I got Gronkowski on the other end, and he's drunk off his ass. Right? Because if you're hearing, hello, all that, you're hearing all that stuff, then you're like, okay, this guy's all screwed up. I called at a terrible time. This is embarrassing, all that, because it's Gronk. I mean, you kind of expect the meathead, the goofball, all that stuff, the fun guy. It's funny how Gronk is not viewed at all as a guy that harms people, that is a bad dude. We all view him as the same lovable meathead, right? Which is probably what he is. Which is kind of cool in a way, because even to his extent of his goofiness and all that, he looks like a cool dude. He looks like the kind of guy that you're good with hanging out. Like he's the kind of bud you want to hang with, have fun with, you can trust, that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing about Gronk that you have to say, that he's one of those guys that he's likable. No matter what, he's likable. And you respect him too in a way, because of the way he's carried himself. He's been true to himself, played the game hard as hell, never really took a playoff, sold out for his team, which I know I hate the Patriots, but you got to respect that, because you want the same kind of characteristics on your football team with your players. I mean, we started off the hour talking about Bam Adebayo, talk about the ultimate character, and not like a Gronk character. I'm talking about like straight up stud character. That kind of stuff. And Gronk is viewed in the same way. Two different personalities, right? But viewed in the same way, in that respect factor, like, okay, you admire the crap out of that guy. The guy walked into the NFL with a plate in his back, and that didn't stop him from going to the Hall of Fame, and that didn't stop him from being one of the top 100, which you and I know he's one of the top 50, not 100. Where in the 50, I don't care, but you know it, and I know it. Guy's a beast, but only Gronk, right? This is the kind of story that would be tied to Gronk. And you would not be surprised whatsoever. Gronkowski, and then I can't. You want to be a fly on the wall when he sees the commissioner. He says, "So hey, I'm sorry about that phone call, but what were you?" And I'm sure the commissioner must have had some kind of a joke or some kind of a laugh with it when he hung up initially, right? Like he turns to his assistant, you won't believe what happened now when I called Gronk. And then the assistant, like any of us would go, oh, what happened now? Right, because only Gronk. It's crazy. Gotta love it. All right, 786-322-1105. Yes, sir.
This is the kind of story that helps him get another live party with Gronk before the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. Well,
this story facilitates that.
He had it already. He had the.
I'm just saying this, and yay, let's do it again with Gronk for the Super Bowl.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Ed Ogeron. We're going to talk a little college football here at the top of the hour with Manny Navarro and get our Canes where Miami Hurricanes report. I saw this story. Ed Ogeron securing a recruit and what extents that he would go to do it. How about at 4 a.m. you do your recruiting trip? You visit at 4 a.m. with your athlete. What do you think about that?
Maybe the kid works nights at some bar as a bar back. You know, we don't know the whole story here.
Well, Kayvon Chason, you know the linebacker Kayvon Chason, who's a stud for LSU. Well, here's a story on how Coach O recruited him. And so he was what's it called, at his house. Chason was rated a 4-star defensive end, number 37 overall prospect in the 2017 class, coming out of North Shore High School in Houston, Texas. Everyone thought he was going to join the Texas Longhorns, except for, of course, Orgeron. One night, Orgeron knocks on Chason's door at 4 a.m. Chason and his family had to catch a flight a couple of hours later. So the LSU coach followed the high school player to the airport and even walked through TSA with him. Can you imagine, Coach O? Yeah, Kayvon. Yeah, you got to come with me. Coach, I got to go to TSA. No problem. I'll go with you. I don't have any guns on me. And you just go through, right? So this man is dying to recruit your ass, that he is talking to you on the way to the airport, you checking in your baggage, and also through TSA. My man's willing to stand in the line in TSA. Now, that must have been funny. Although it's 4 a.m., I would imagine there wasn't much of a line at the airport at that time. So he goes, I was going to take my talents to Texas, and he wasn't having any of that. He set up a home visit. I was on the way to Florida for a visit. And I was like, Coach, we don't have time for a home visit. I'm about to head out. Man, I came to my house at 4 a.m. in the morning, knocking on the door. All right, while everybody's asleep, he made sure he got his visit in. And I was like, Coach, we've got to head to the airport. We've got to be there by 6 a.m. flight. And he literally followed me to the airport, walked me all the way through TSA and was like, bro, we got to have you. Please, please. He was like, I know what to do with you. I'm telling you, we're going to be the best of duos. Coach O got his man. Chason took an official visit on January 13th of 2017 and signed his national letter of intent to play for LSU on February 1st of 2017. He became an instant impact player as a freshman in 17. He was named to the all-freshman SEC team, and by his junior year, he earned all SEC first-team honors, racked up 92 tackles, 19 tackles for losses, 9.5 sacks, and 26 career games at LSU. He wasn't the first top-flight recruit Orgeron reeled in, and there'll be certainly more. Let's just hope that he does it a little later time than 4 a.m., obviously, right? But that is an interesting story, how that guy would go to the extreme of securing a guy at 4 freaking a.m.
Hey, my coach, to get a guy that's going to make a difference on our team, if it's 5 a.m., you go do it.
Right. So LSU, before we take a break here, they recruited another guy out of Alexandria High School in Louisiana, a defensive tackle by the name of Jacobian Gulleroy. All right, he committed to play for the Tigers in Baton Rouge next year. Well, he is massive, no doubt, okay? This guy is 6'2", 330 pounds already coming out of high school. He signed his national letter of intent on signing day in December before LSU won the national championship game. My man, okay, it's here on Twitter. He is benching 700 pounds. I'm sorry, squatting 700 pounds. And he squats 700 pounds like it's nothing, like it's going out of style. He was a national powerlifting champ in the super heavyweight division. Jacobian Gulleroy. By the way, he squats 700 pounds with ease, and then he also deadlift 625 pounds. This kid's out of high school. Okay? Out of high school. And he's doing this. Now, we'll find out if he's a hell of a player. But my man can squat 700 pounds. That's pretty impressive. That's extremely impressive. Wow. Gulleroy. Remember that name. Deadlifting 625, squatting 740. I'm sorry, 740. He squatted 740. Well,
we know once you win a championship. You can perpetuate another and get recruits and all that. We've seen Alabama. We did it back in the day. You got to get in there and get on them.
And they got him before the national title. Wow, there are people like, LSU's always been loaded with talent every year. They send plenty of people to the draft every single year. Now they got a coach. Scary stuff. All right, let's take a break. We start hour number 3 next. Manny Navarro from The Athletic. He covers the Canes. It is spring football. Let's talk a little Canes next.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opa-locka, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Plus tax tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19. Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when you use. 50% less. Pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $3,000, $19,775. Pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. Pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street, open till midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Running the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
time for our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report. We do it every week at this time at 1 o'clock with the man, the myth, the legend that is Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Make sure you subscribe to That Athletic and follow Manny on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. So, Manny, it's only been a day and a half, and you're already impressed by De'Aaron King.
Yeah, he looks really good when they do the 11-11 work, 7-on-7 work. I mean, just his throws, not only are they on target, but they're just crisp. Like, he doesn't make many mistakes in terms of reading defenses, and he knows where to put the ball on guys. So I know he's little. He's only about 5'10", but in terms of what I've seen after a day and a half, looks like a guy who clearly is a fifth-year senior and has experience playing the quarterback position.
And you have plenty of experience watching bad quarterbacks. So, you know, I guess this is a good way for you to measure it, right?
There is. I've been doing this a long time, man. And, you know, when Tate Martell was throwing the football last year, people were asking me about him. I kept telling everybody, it doesn't look good, man.
No.
And I thought I was right on that one, and this one I'm telling you, it looks good. So.
All right. So, and where is he with the offense? Because he's got to be in the infancy stages from all of this, or how much what Rhett runs is familiar to him. It's just maybe the terminology that he's got to adjust to. What's the story behind the scenes?
Well, I mean, really, De'Aaron King played in the same exact offense that Kendall Briles ran at Houston when he was the offensive coordinator there, and when he had his prolific season there, where he went nuts as a junior a couple years ago. So, you know, really, I think in terms of understanding the offense, understanding what Lashley wants him to do, he's very comfortable with it. I don't think there's going to be very much of an adjustment period at all. I think it's more so for the offensive linemen who now have to get up, hustle to the line of scrimmage, and get ready for the next snap, and to the receivers to run their routes, get back to the line of scrimmage quickly, and get up and get ready to snap the ball again. I think those are the guys that are all sort of making the adjustments. The defense as well. I mean, those guys might have faced that in the game, but to face it every day in practice, I think it's certainly going to help those kids in terms of when they face similar offenses that play that no-huddle style. To see it constantly in practice, to have to play against that style every single day, it's going to help those defensive guys, I think, get in better shape and think quicker and react quicker to what they're seeing.
Manny, apparently Lashley is a ball buster, huh? He's one of those guys that doesn't take a lot of crap out there.
No, and I don't know if it's just like one of these SEC things, because I've been around this program a long time, and I've seen different coordinators come and go. Some guys are just quiet, and they don't show a whole lot of emotion. But these last two guys, Dan Enos and Lashley, are very vocal, very loud, very in your face, if you will. And you know, I know it didn't work out with Dan Enos, and it's kind of what I wrote about in my story today for The Athletic. You know, Dan, they came in with the right intentions, and he quickly learned that you know, these millennials, at least the ones here in Miami, they're pretty soft, and the relationship with him and Jared Williams obviously fell apart, and that's why he's gone, and that's why Jared Williams is gone. I think Rhett Lashley, he's 15 years younger than Dan Enos, 36 years old. He understands how these kids have to be coached. He's certainly, I think, a little bit more relatable to them. And I think right off the bat, he's sort of setting the expectations of, hey, I'm going to be on you even when you're doing drills. If you can't hit the spot on a go route with, you know, against air, and you're going to be making mistakes when we're just doing that, then I'm going to get on your ass. And I think, you know, I think the kids, as long as it comes from a loving place, man, and I think it does. I think he's going to be a hit with these kids. And so far, it sounds like, you know, Mike Harley, who's a senior, talked about it yesterday. He's like one of us, you know. So when they hear him yell and scream and bark, it's not like it's coming from Dan Enos, where I think a lot of those guys by season's end have tuned him out. I think right now, these first couple months, this honeymoon period, he's coming across to them like somebody that they respect and that they want to listen to. So hopefully he keeps it up. But to me, that's the key. I mean, you know, we've talked about it in the past on your show. Some of these guys are mental midgets, and that's ultimately why Miami's season went off the rails last year. I think some of these kids are just mental midgets, Rhett Lashley has simplified the offense. He's making them play faster. He's got a fifth-year senior quarterback who is a no-nonsense type of kid whose father just died and he's totally focused on taking care of his family. So it's much different from Darren Williams. And then the system that they're playing in, I think, is easier for them to grasp. So I think you're going to have positive results with Rhett Lashley and the way he's doing things.
Now, and we're talking with Manny Navarro, of course. We do it every week here on our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. And go to 2511 South University Drive in Davie, baby. Get all your Canes gear there. Inter Miami, Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins, Miami Marlins, Florida Panthers, all kinds of stuff. Now, I kind of know the answer because the kid's only here for a year, so I don't think it's going to be a big deal. But I'm just wondering, Tyler Van Dyke, we kind of were hyping him ourselves, and we were kind of looking for him to maybe be that guy that steps up this year. Tyler now will have to wait a year. Is that an issue at all for Tyler? Because you were just talking about millennials. I just want to make sure this millennial will be all right hanging out for another year before he has an opportunity to really take over, if he can even take over. So I'm just wondering, how did Tyler handle all of this with King coming in?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, and from talking to some people through back channels, my feeling is he never thought he was going to come in here and start right away. Remember, when he was being recruited here, Darren Williams was a redshirt freshman, Nkosi was a redshirt sophomore, so he knew that he was probably going to have to sit a year or two when he came to Miami, when Danny Enos was the guy recruiting him here. So I think as much as the kid is excited about the fact that the quarterback room has changed, and there's a new coach in there and a system that he feels comfortable with, the spread, he didn't necessarily play in the spread, but he likes the system, the hurry up. I think he's comfortable with waiting a year and learning. Now, again, I warn you, these aren't blanket statements. We know things can change quickly, and the way college football is, and the way it's trending, where maybe we're going to have this rule in place where everybody gets one get out of jail free card, right, where they can transfer without having to wait. I think it can always change, and I think certainly if you're Miami, and you look at the success that other college football programs have had year to year now, getting a Justin Fields, getting a Jalen Hurts, getting a De'Aaron King, going through the transfer portal is something that a lot of college teams, if they can do it, I think they're going to do it. If you can get a guy who's been taught for 3 years and is ready to really blossom as a senior, I think Miami's always going to have its eye open for that. But that said, I can tell you they like Tyler Van Dyke, and I think one guy that nobody's talking about at all that was kind of impressive today, and I've heard some good things about, is Peyton Matoka. He's the quarterback that was redshirted last year. He was recruited at the end of the 2019 signing class by Darren Enos, and I've heard some positive things about the kid, and he looked good throwing the football today to me. And him and Tyler Van Dyke both look good, and it's encouraging signs for the future. I think when you look at this quarterback position and where it was last year after that FIU game and the way the season ended, everybody was like, "Oh my God, you got to go out and get help." They obviously did, but I think Tyler Van Dyke and Peyton Matoka are certainly two guys that look like they have the goods and just need to be groomed.
Manny, how about the offensive line? I know that, there's not a ton of hitting going on here, right? I would imagine that It's a little harder to measure the offensive linemen, so I can't look too much into it. Who are the five right now that they're putting in as the first unit?
Well, it's funny. I asked at the end of we got Rhett Lashley today at the end of practice. The last question that I was able to sneak in was a question about his philosophy. Because to me, having done this as long as I have, every coach kind of comes in and they treat the spring differently. When Art Kehoe was around here coaching the offensive line for different coordinators, usually they spent the spring experimenting with guys, moving guys to new positions so that when the fall came around, they would go back to their regular positions, and then if somebody got hurt, you could always flip-flop and do what you had to do. Red's philosophy, from when he answered my question today, was, they want to kind of try to lock guys into spots. So I think, they're not going to really do that till the end of this week. There's 4 practices this week. Today was the second, and we got Thursday and Friday. Thursday and Friday, they'll be in pads. I think he wants to use these next 2 days to really study, which spots these guys are best at, and then try to lock them in there so that between him and Garen Justice, they can build some consistency on that offensive line and some chemistry. That's his philosophy with this. Don't use the spring to mess around. just figure out what you're really good at and let those guys build that chemistry. So that's an encouraging sign to me. I like that a little bit more, especially with where this offensive line was last year. Today, the first team offensive line, you had John Campbell at left tackle. Obviously he played some last year. He was basically the first man off the bench. With Navon Donaldson out, Usman Traore was at left guard. And he's a kid that they picked up late in the recruiting process last year. Basically spent the whole year on the scout team developing, but I've heard lots of good things about him. He was a JUCO kid from a year ago. And then, center was coordinator. You had DJ Scaife at right guard, which is where I think they want Scaife in the future at right guard. And then at right tackle, you had Zion Nelson, who was your starting left tackle last year. That was your first unit, and then you had other guys sprinkled in the second unit. Kai Clark, who was a starter last year, was playing some center, he was playing some guard. Jalen Rivers, the big-time recruit that they got in this last recruiting class, he was a backup left guard. You had Zalante Hillary, the kid who came in off the bench last year and looked terrible in that North Carolina game. He was a backup left tackle. So you had guys kind of sprinkled all over the place, just playing spots that they don't normally play. But I think to answer your question in a long roundabout way, I think after Friday we'll start paying attention and we'll start paying, really looking to see where guys are getting locked in at and getting the most of their reps.
Wide receiver, who are Canes fans going to be seeing catching these footballs?
Well, I mean, the three veteran guys that are coming back that have experience and have played in games. You have Mike Harley basically in the slot, and then you got D. Wiggins and Mark Pope on the outside. Those are going to be your three first-team guys. But the second unit is interesting, and something Amari Carter, the fourth senior safety, said today was that the new guys are right there with the old guys. And I'm talking about Xavier Restrepo, the freshman slot receiver, a kid out of Deerfield Beach who reminds me every bit of Braxton Berrios. Really thick kid, catches the ball, is explosive. I think he's going to be a nice addition to this team. And then you got Keyshawn Smith, a kid they got late in the recruiting process, another freshman. He's playing on the outside. He's backing up D. Wiggins. And then Jeremiah Payton, who was a big-time recruit in last year's class. Jeremiah looks like he's put on some weight. He's a bigger kid as well. So those are the six right now that are really getting a lot of work. Zaylen Worsham, another freshman, he looks good as well. They've kind of moved him around at different spots. So, but again, nobody's in pads. Everybody's wearing shorts and helmets, and let's see what happens when they put the pads on and guys start getting hit. It's going to be a different story, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, obviously that's when we start to get a better feel. The guys that are doing the hitting, well, they lost a couple of really important linebackers. McLeod comes back. Who else is in that group that you expect to elevate themselves?
Well, you got Patrick Joyner Jr., who the kid that I think at the end of his freshman year 2 seasons ago was starting to come around. We're starting to say, wow, this guy's maybe he's the backup middle linebacker once Shaq Quarterman and Michael Pinckney get out of here. And I think right now, on paper, he probably is that guy backing up Zach McLeod in the middle. There's only 4 healthy linebackers this spring. A lot of the other guys are out right now. Wayman Steed, he's had two season-ending injuries. He's working his way back. He wasn't around hitting or doing anything like that today. So you had, some walk-ons, Ryan Rigoni, who's there. Keonta Smith, he's getting a lot of work at the striker position. They moved him from safety inside there. It's really hard right now to talk about linebackers because they're so short-handed. I think in the end, what you want to see this spring is Zach McLeod really make it, sort of his unit where he takes over for Shaq and Pigney and really leads that unit. But eventually, Avery Huff, the redshirt freshman, Sam Brooks, the sophomore, those are the guys that are going to play a ton. And I think Patrick Joyner right now, he's probably the fourth guy when you look at linebacker.
All right, so Manny, when you look at Manny Diaz, okay, and I hear some of his press conferences and sound bites the last couple of weeks and obviously in these last couple of days, it is a more subdued Manny Diaz. It is a humbled Manny Diaz. It's not a brash Manny Diaz that's making all kinds of statements and claims last year. It seems like he kind of learned his lesson and was humbled after the experience of 2020 or 19. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wrote about that on signing day. Just how, to me, he sounded like a different guy. And I think, it's for Manny Diaz, again, you and I have talked about this so much on the show, right? That the head coach at the University of Miami used to be a Jedi Master. Well, to me, Manny Diaz's rookie season, you cannot say that he didn't learn something from it. He clearly did. And I think that's an encouraging sign when you look at a head coach that, not only do they recognize some of the mistakes they made, but they make changes. And he obviously did that with his offense, immediately getting rid of Dan Enos and his receivers coach and his offensive line coach. But then he did it with the way he carries himself. And I think, it was pretty reflective last year at times that the players, you know this, you've been doing this a long time, players usually mimic what the head coach says. They repeat many of the things he says in their meetings and the way that they carry themselves. And I think there's no doubt last year that there were times that this football team had a level of arrogance that was undeserved. I mean, they were walking around pounding their chest like they were the Hurricanes of old, when in reality they hadn't done anything. And I think that level of arrogance, Manny Diaz had to have recognized it. I don't know if it was in a conversation with Jimmy Johnson or somebody else pointing it out to him, but I think he realized it. And he knows that he has to be more subdued, and it's about the work on the field. And in the end, that's all that matters. It's the win-loss record. And it matters, what you do every single Saturday. I think he realizes that now, and trying to tap into that swagger, that undeserved swagger, because this program really hasn't done anything for a long time, was dumb. And, I don't think he'll ever come out and admit it, because I asked him about it during the spring. Should you reel it back? Should you, actually not the spring, but at the end of the season, I asked him, should you reel back this sort of arrogance? And he, of course, he wouldn't talk about that. He kind of shoved it off to the side. But in the reality, he acknowledged, hey, we can't be this team that has all the swagger when we go out and lose to FIU and we lose to Louisiana Tech and we can't beat Duke. That to me is only earned with W's, and I think he's acknowledged, and he's acting that way as a head coach now. And it's important, because as much as you want to generate excitement for recruits and everything else, the reality is a lot of these kids, when it comes to recruiting, they pick a program not because of the turnover chain or the hype or any of that stuff. It's because of the relationships that they have with the coaches, and it's because of whether or not they feel like the program is heading in an upward direction. And he looked like a fool last year, banging his chest and talking about the new Miami. And so it looks like he's learned his lesson, and to me, he is the guy that you want him to be in year number 2. Now, will it translate to W's? We'll see. But everything so far, to me, from the end of 2019 to now, it looks to me like Manny Diaz has done everything right. Now it's a matter of, can you get the results that you want on the field?
Yeah, I'm super impressed with, there was no ignorance, there was no blinding. The dude saw exactly what was wrong and really went after it and corrected it. And I can't commend him more on how he's handled the offseason. I'm hoping that it all comes together, because a lot of us wanted him to succeed as it is. But he had to have realized that, man, it looked dysfunctional. It looked like he didn't know what the hell he was doing out there. And that's disturbing. Because I can see when things go wrong, that's one thing. But when it looks like you're doing everything wrong, that's the part it's kind of like the Panthers. Dale Talon talked a really good game, and we heard about everything he did in Chicago and all that. Well, 10 years later, everything he's done has not worked out. And that's kind of what it felt like last year with Manny. Everything he did was wrong. So here's the other thing. I almost feel like you should earn that turnover chain and those touchdown rings, and hell, you should earn running through the smoke, that kind of stuff. I know they're not, but was there any talk of maybe, hey, you know what? Let's get to the point where we deserve to use these props and award you for it, not just award you for it and you're losing by 10 or 20 points in a game, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, It's interesting. I haven't asked him that yet. I'll tell you this: nobody's wearing a U on their helmet. Okay, everything's the white helmets. I don't see
Is that normal?
any names.
Is that normal?
Well, they have at times done that in the past. I remember when Randy Shannon did it years ago. I'm trying. I can't remember every year, man, because it feels like everything runs into each other when you start to try to say, okay, what year was that? But I certainly remember Randy Shannon doing it. I think Al Golden did it for a season. But again, there's been times where the U has been on the helmet. So I don't know. At some point, I'd like to ask Manny about that. We had him yesterday, and none of us brought any of that stuff up because we were so interested in just the start of the spring. But I think as the spring progresses, we got a month before the spring game, April 11th. I'm sure one of us will get a chance to ask him about that. Because, again, I asked him at the end of last season, I basically told him, doesn't it seem ridiculous that you guys are putting on these chains and celebrating all these things when you're 6 and 7, And he didn't want to, I guess he didn't want to sort of admit defeat then, like, hey, yeah, you're right, stupid, we shouldn't do any of this stuff. But clearly he's taken everything that's happened to heart because he's changed his body language, he's changed the way that he is running the program. And to me, it all, like you're right, it just sends a different message to the public, the way that he's talking, the way that he's acting, and the fact that, the kids are echoing his statement. There's no beating of the chest, there's none of this new Miami, this dancing and all that kind of silliness. I think that has dissipated, and I think now everybody's trying to get real serious about the football.
Oh, let's hope we got better days ahead, man. We definitely need it down here. And, of course, you can follow Manny on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at The Athletic. Catch his Caneswear, Miami Hurricanes report every week here at this time. And, of course, you can always podcast it and listen to it whenever you want. Manny, as always, my man, thank you for taking some time. Exceptional segment.
Thank you, brother. Look forward to next week talking to you again.
You got it, baby. Be good. There you go. And, of course, it's brought to you by Caneswear. Go see Brett and all the amazing people out there at Caneswear. 2511 South University Drive in Davie. We broadcast out there every single month. I think we'll be out there on Wednesday the 25th of this month. I think is when we're going to be out there. So looking forward to it. As always, we thank the great folks at Caneswear for being great sponsors of our program. We thank Manny Navarro, as always, and go to Caneswear, Canes_wear on Twitter, 2511 South University Drive. And if you order online, if you order over $99, you will get free shipping at Caneswear.com.
It angers you.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Plus tax, tech, title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19. Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than the original MSRP when you and use. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Providing the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorocktillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorocktillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We're back.
This is the Big O Show.
Thank you for hanging in there. We take you for a little bit more. We will have, let's see, Mike DeRocco is going to join us at the top of the hour as they've got some issues there.
I can't wait to hear about all the suitors that are looking forward to getting Nick Foles.
Yes, Nick Foles. Wow. I see Andrew.
They're lining up. They're around the block.
I see Andrew Cuomo is saying a second coronavirus case in New York State. Now, so there you go. The cases are coming up. By the way, I'd be remiss if I did not mention our thoughts and prayers are with our friends in Nashville. The tornadoes that tore through there last night. The death toll is up to 22 now. Which is just heartbreaking, and when you see the pictures of all the destruction, just I can't imagine going through that experience and how scary it is, and how it happens from one moment to another for those of you that live in those parts of the country where tornadoes are common or you end up running into them. But man, I see the damage in Nashville. And just want you to know that on behalf of all of us here, our prayers and go out to all the folks out in Nashville that lost lives and property and are going through a brutal time right now, man. So I just heartbreaking to see what's going on in Nashville. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there. Talking, we like to talk a little music sometimes here on the show. Smashing Pumpkins. You're a Smashing Pumpkins fan? Well,
you're well aware of that, sir.
Well, they are now making their Rock Invasion 2 tour. And it's setting up, and it will start April 23rd in Louisville, Kentucky. It will come here to Hollywood, to the Hard Rock Live on May 3rd. So if you want to go see a little Smashing Pumpkins, you will be able to see them here in Hollywood. I like that. The other thing that I saw that's pretty cool, I'm an Anthrax fan. And Joey Belladonna is one hell of a singer. He does a great Dio. Joey Belladonna is also a big Journey fan. And so he has been caught on film many times, singing karaoke, Journey, all that stuff. So he's been such a big Journey fan that he now has created his own Journey tribute group, and it's called Journey Beyond. Belladonna's cover act, Chief Big Way, toured heavily and played some other scattered shows until the end of the year. Now, Journey Beyond are prepping for their first show ever, which will be in Hopeville, Virginia, at the Beacon Theater on March 6th. Announcing the news on social media, Belladonna wrote, "I'm happy to announce the debut of Journey Beyond, a tribute to the legendary band Journey. It's my pleasure to welcome my new band out of Nashville, and we're very excited to hit the stage together. We're excited to be performing a night of Journey timeless hits," the singer said in the upcoming gig, "and we look forward to seeing some new fans in the crowd." That's pretty cool. I got to tell you, I wish I lived in that area because I would go see Belladonna do that. If you want, go to YouTube and put Joey Belladonna singing Journey, and you'll see he does a pretty damn good job overall. I'm not telling you he doesn't do what Arnel Pineda does. Arnel Pineda sounds identical to Steve Perry, okay? I mean, identical. He sounds right there. That's not what Belladonna does. Belladonna sings it in his voice. He has kind of the tone of Steve. He doesn't take that metal tone that he would take with Anthrax. But if you've ever seen Anthrax live, you know that Joey's got a freaking amazing voice. Because, see, I'm one of those guys. I love metal, right? I'm a metal fan, huge metal fan. But I do have my requirements. You got to be a singer. I'm not the guy that's into the death metal and the screaming metal. That's just not. I'm not into that. I can't do it. Some of you, hey, listen, nothing wrong with it. Some of you like that. More power to you. But Joey Belladonna, see, Anthrax is it's hard driving, fast metal, but Belladonna can sing his ass off. Okay? In fact, when he does Dio, you know he can sing his ass off because you don't do Dio unless you can sing. All right? That's for sure. Foo Fighters, I don't know if you heard this. You know that the Foo Fighters this year are celebrating their 25th anniversary as a band. 25 years they came out of.
A boy named Goo. Name, the main first hit, whatever. That I think was their third or fourth album. They had like 3, I think, previously. They are from Buffalo, New York, by the way.
The Foo Fighters?
Oh, dude, why am I thinking Goo Goo Dolls?
Okay. The Foo Fighters, I'm going like, what the hell are you talking about? The Foo Fighters, by the way, have announced the DC Jam, a one-day festival taking place July 4th at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. The DC Jam comes in the celebration of the Foo Fighters' 25th anniversary, like I told you guys. It's something of a homecoming for Dave Grohl, who grew up in Washington, D.C. In addition to the headlining set from the Foo Fighters, performances from Chris Stapleton, Pharrell Williams, The Go-Go's, Band of Horses, Beach Bunny, The Regrets, Radke, Duran Jones, and The Indications. The DC Jam will also feature a barbecue competition, which will, of course, undoubtedly involve the pitmaster himself, Dave Grohl, as well as tailgate party, rides, games, and other attractions. Tickets will go on sale March 6th, dcjamfest.com. There you go. How about that? That's a pretty cool concert, man.
Have you seen Foo Fighters yet?
Oh, yeah.
You have?
I saw them at Rockville a couple of years ago. They headlined.
I can't imagine. They got to be pretty awesome.
They were awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I've seen him twice.
He's super diverse. Awesome. I forget what thing. I forget what thing he was doing, but awesome. With a bunch of different acts. And I mean, man, his range of music is pretty outrageous.
Mike No Go Zones is on there. He says, "Time for a road trip to D.C. Maybe I can film an episode while I'm there." Yeah, exactly. There you go. Go to D.C. Although you did Baltimore, you were close by.
25 years, man, that's Nirvana's been gone that long, huh?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Cobain.
I cannot believe it's been 25 years, bro.
Hey, man. Listen, what was it the other day that I thought it was like 8 or 10 and it was 12 or 14?
Oh, that was Pittsburgh and Arizona in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, time flies, man. The Hollies, they were just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So they have announced that they will be launching their first full tour of the United States in 18 years this summer. The UK rock icons will be kicking off a trek July 8th in Saratoga, California at the Mountain Winery, and will wrap up the tour July 26th in Boston at the Wilbur. Now, for those of you that are asking, nothing in Florida. They go from California to Nevada on July 11th. They're in Vegas. Phoenix, San Antonio, Irving, Texas, Austin, Chicago, Huber Heights, Ohio, Washington, D.C., then they go to Jersey, Red Bank, and Morristown. Then they go to Connecticut, and then they wrap up in Boston. So there you go. So if you wanted to see the Hollies, you're not going to see the Hollies because they're not coming your way, unfortunately. There you go. Now, Kiss, and this is cool. This is really cool. Because, I know Kiss is the end of the road, right? That's what you're saying. But it's the end of the road for concerts. It's not the end of the road for casinos. Now, this is pretty cool for us because I go every year to the Senior Bowl. So next year, I would imagine Jerky's there with me again. Kiss are working on plans to open a casino complex named after Rock and Brews restaurant chain. Tom Moore of Ram Group said the development will open in the site of the previous casino in Biloxi, once owned by Jimmy Buffett and operated under the Margaritaville brand. The plan includes 3,000 capacity concert hall, 300-room hotel, and a casino with 1,000 slot machines. They will have rock legend halls and rock legend walls. Moore told casino.org, when people come in here, they're going to feel a different experience. There's a potential for making a part of Biloxi come back to life, the mayor said. They have led efforts to build boardwalks. We hope they wrap up a boardwalk all the way around our property. Site approval has already been granted, Moore said, with a casino license to be secured in the coming weeks. Funding was already in place for the development after his company and Kiss investigated the area and fell in love with the culture. Meanwhile, Tommy Thayer reported that work on the band's documentary was at least halfway complete. The director is John Dorsey, and he's done great things before. Thayer told Rock's Severange Blabbermouth, we've done interviews on camera, and he's putting together a lot of historic footage, talking to a lot of different sources, including us and our archives. It's coming along. I've seen a little bit, and I think it will be really exciting. The guitarist admitted he didn't know much about the Kiss biopic. That's also underway. I know that it's in the works, but I don't think they've started filming anything yet, he noted. There's definitely a lot of planning. That's about as much as I know. So there you go. You got the Kiss biopic coming. You've got the documentary coming. And you've got a casino for Kiss coming.
Knowing Gene Simmons like we know him.
Right.
This is going to go on
right
for the next 5, 10 years, as long as it'll go.
Right. Yeah. And maybe, you know what? Maybe they do appearances there. Like Gene will do his own concert, like a solo concert for,
I put nothing past them
right
when it comes to earning some cash.
Yeah. As long as Gene goes and does a World Without Heroes, I'm there. That's all. I want to see a World Without Heroes live.
Just going back, that Smashing Pumpkins date is this year. Is
yes.
that correct? In
yes.
May.
May. Yeah, May 3rd.
Do you notice that back in the day it would be 5 months, 6 months minimum?
Sometimes,
8.
yeah.
Now, man, it's 2-3 months away. Here it is.
Remember that facility was just opened. So they're probably still scrambling to fill as many dates as possible. So then you're in the negotiations.
You're going to make too much planning post the first 6 months because of possible
delays
and
all that.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah,
that what you just said totally makes sense.
Yep. And so the other bit of music news is Kansas. They will release The Absence of Presence on June 26th. 4 years after the Prelude Implicit, which, by the way, was an excellent album on their part. So new material there. Tom Brislin, their new keyboardist, will be a part of it. And looking forward to a new Kansas album coming out also this year. I like that. Not bad. So there's some music news for you. That you guys can keep up with there if you rock out like we do here on this program. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Did you see that Tony Romo is making more than what was reported initially? First, it was reported that he was making $17 million per year. Now it's going to be $17.5 million per year. And the deal says it could be worth $18 million over 10 years. Now, it's actually $17.5 per year in salary, with other perks valued at $500,000 per year. Romo's initial 3-year deal with CBS paid out a total of $10 million. Now he's getting paid $17.5 every single year. ESPN, which wanted to pursue Romo but has never gotten the official chance to do so because CBS re-signed him before ESPN could try, has reported that Romo's new deal covers the next 3 seasons only and that the next 7 become triggered by a new CBS deal to broadcast NFL games. If CBS keeps the NFL, CBS keeps Romo. And Romo makes $180 million over 10 years. Or putting it another way, $40 million more than what Jerry Jones paid to buy the Cowboys in 1989. Wow. There you go.
Telling me this, man. What would John Madden be worth back in the day, like now?
Yeah.
Right?
The thing that, see, Romo will be able to ride this for a little while more because as he knows the coaches and he knows the players and all that, now he can ride it for several years, but in about 5 to 10 years, there'll be enough turnover that he won't be able to predict all those things that he's done in the past. And so then it changes for him. And so he won't be nearly as effective. People love it because he seems to predict, he does predict a lot of what's going to go on in the play. I know some of you out there hate it. It's like, that person that you're sitting with and they're guessing what's going on in the movie, and some of you hate that stuff. But I do it a lot. My wife does it a lot. My daughter hates it. She hates that me and my wife are constantly guessing what's going on and what's going to happen in the movie. And my wife and I are actually pretty good at it, so we do get it right a lot of times. And so she hates that, like, we guess the plot, and then by the time the movie ends, she's like, damn it, I already knew what was going to happen because you guys were talking about it. I hate that. So I get that some of you out there hate when Romo does it. And I would imagine that if my daughter was, like, into football that way, it would probably bother her. But that's something that people love, man. And that's because he knows the league so well. He knows the players so well. But eventually there's going to be turnover because that's just the way of the world, as Earth, Wind, and Fire would say. And when that turnover happens, that's when he won't be nearly as effective predicting all this stuff. But it won't happen for several years, and hell, most of you will forget about this conversation in a month. So forget about several years from now. When he's not guessing it as much, you're going to go, O talked about that after they turn over, that he wouldn't get it as much. But whatever, that's the way it's going to go. In a few years, he won't have that crystal ball that he has now, which works beautifully for him because he is, hey, man, bless him. I got nothing against Tony. Tony Romo can make all the money he wants to make. Got no problem at all with that.
Would you agree, though, $17 million to announce football games, it's
ridiculous, but
thank you.
It's ridiculous, but it's what the
could get AJ Green right now for $10 million a year, right?
Right. Well, easy, but it's what the market bears, and so if they're willing to pay it, then it's not that crazy anymore. Listen, man. At one point or another, I hope it happens to all of us, where they give you more money than even you deserve.
No doubt.
I'm not going to hold it against you, man. And Michael Thomas is kind of silly, because he comes out and says, this is what's wrong with our CBA, that the announcers are making more money. Well, dude, that has nothing to do with the salary cap. That has nothing to do with the revenue from the NFL. And, Michael, that's your problem, dude. That's you and the players. Get together and fight it, man. Fight for what you guys deserve. But you roll over for the owners every time. So don't bitch and complain. If you're not getting the piece of the pie you're supposed to, you're not getting the guarantees that you're supposed to, well then, dude, that's your own fault. Okay? Don't blame Tony Romo. That has nothing to do with it. If CBS wants to pay him $18 million a year, then so be it, dude. Then he's worth $18 million to them. That's all.
For the union to work, they have to be together. There are too many players that are only there, like you said, for 2-3 years, and to actually sacrifice a year or two to get the benefits, there's too many of them that are not willing to do that. They are not a union. A union is everybody's together. They're not. There's guys on this side of the fence. This guy, he's got that agenda.
Everybody has an agenda.
Yeah, and that's it. You got to be united.
Right. So, Michael Thomas, I know you're an exceptional receiver and all that good stuff, my brother, but, that you want problems where you're worried about the problems in your CBA? Well, then how about you players actually get a brain and figure it out and have some balls and stand up to the owners and fight for what you deserve instead of rolling over every single time. You want to do that? Go ahead, man. Knock yourself out. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. The league does not care about you, Michael Thomas. And I'll give you an example on how the league doesn't care about the players. I saw this story a couple days ago. I forgot to talk about it over the weekend. The Washington tight end, Jordan Reed, who got cut after 7 recorded concussions that he's had. Okay, we don't know how many he's really had in his lifetime. But according to Jeremy Fowler, the Rams have spoken with Reed about a possible deal. Jordan Reed can play whatever he wants, man. It's his life, and if he wants to, scramble his brains to hell, then go ahead and you go and do it, right? But the league doesn't have to sacrifice their own people. And Jordan Reed should be banned from football. And that's what I would also talk to. Hey, Michael Thomas, you want to worry about something? You guys need to negotiate with the owners on a limit of concussions, and then the player must be banned. This guy's had 7 recorded concussions, which you and I know means he's had 10, 12, 14 concussions probably. And here are the Rams. They need a tight end, so they're going to call the often injured guy and bring him aboard. So maybe, mind you, this guy did not play all year because he was on concussion protocol. He was still on concussion protocol when they just released him in the offseason. And he's thinking of playing. I get it. Jordan Reed has no other skill set in his life. Clearly. You've suffered that many concussions. You don't care about your health. You obviously can only play football. After that, you have no other skill set. That's what that tells me. 7 years, you've made enough money. If you put it away, you should be all right at least. And you got a pension coming eventually because you played enough time. 7 years. 7 concussions too. And then the Rams are working you out. I found that story to be absolutely disgusting on every level. They don't care. They don't care about the players at all. And that's a perfect example that they don't care about the players.
We got to get ready for Mike.
Yep, Mike DeRocco is going to join us on the other side. We're going to talk a little Jags with him. After we talk a little Jags with him, I've also got something Dolphins-wise that may interest you NFL-wise and draft for the Miami Dolphins. So we'll do that. But we'll talk to Mike DeRocco next because I think Yannick Ngakoue or something like that. I think it's called something like that. I think that's his name. But anyway, he is pissed off at the Jags. But the Jags, well, they don't care that he's pissed off. So we'll talk to Mike DeRocco and the reports that they're trying to trade their quarterback, who I think is untradeable except to the XFL. We'll ask Mike DeRocco about that and more next right here on The Big O Show.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19. Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when you use. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street, open till midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Providing the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Welcome back. All right, we're going to switch gears here. We're going to talk a little Jags football. My buddy Mike DeRocco does an excellent job of covering the Jags for ESPN NFL Nation. You can follow him like I and so many others do at ESPN DeRocco. Mikey, good afternoon, my friend. Thank you for taking some time.
No problem. How are you today?
I am doing exceptional, my friend. I cannot complain. Which is a beautiful thing. All right, so let's get into this first of all. I found this humorous, dude. Really? They're going to try to trade Nick Foles, like where? To the XFL? I mean, come on, bro. Mikey, you know there's no – who the hell is going to take Nick Foles at this point? Do they really think they have any shot at trading him?
I mean, that rumor's out there, just I think to see if anyone will nibble. But honestly, you know that Brady's available. You know that Phillip Rivers is available. And you know that Andy Dalton is eventually going to be available. So I don't know why you would want to trade for a guy who's making $22 million a year when you could probably get Andy Dalton significantly cheaper. And oh, by the way, Marcus Mariota will be out there, possibly Ryan Tannehill. So I just don't see it. I think that was just, one of those things where, let's just throw this out there and see if anybody nibbles. But I mean, I'm expecting him to be on the roster this year, at least all the way through camp or whatever, and into the season. I mean, maybe they work something out with somebody, but I'm with you. I just don't really see it. I don't think there's a demand for Nick Foles. There wasn't one last year. It was the Jaguars and nobody else. So why would it be different this year when there's actually other quarterbacks that are available?
Now, Mikey, does that put them in a position where they're like tied to these two guys and they're not going to draft somebody, or they wouldn't go after a Phillip Rivers or something along those lines? How do you see them handling this quarterback position? Are they moving forward with Gardner Minshew as the guy?
Yeah, I think Minshew is the guy they would prefer. Take the lead at this point and win the job there, because you feel like, okay, he's a young guy. We can go ahead and work with him, and more importantly for them, with their cap situation and how much money that Foles is getting, is he's a cheap guy. So I don't see them drafting a quarterback this year anyway. I mean, I think if they somehow manage to end up with the number 1 pick next year, then I think they'll be taking young Trevor Lawrence. But this year I think it's going to be the Minshew and Foles show. And to me, when they let John DeFilippo go, the offensive coordinator, I took that as a sign that, Minshew's the guy. Because DeFilippo was Foles' guy. They were together in Philly. They brought him here and then signed Foles and built the offense around Foles. So I think Jay Gruden is he's a West Coast guy. I think that's going to fit Gardner Minshew really well. So I think, if you're asking me who I think is going to win the job and be the starting quarterback, I think it's going to be Minshew, and they're going to roll with that kid at least through this year, until we see what happens with the front office and the coaching staff. Depending on how the season goes, this could be their last year.
Right. No, I'm with you. Hey, at this point, Jacksonville, just like Miami in my town, people might be looking over to Houston in the XFL for that P.J. Walker kid who is, lighting it up and playing the kind of football that they want in today's NFL with those active quarterbacks. What do you think, man? Does somebody give that kid a chance?
I would be stunned if he's not in somebody's camp. I really would, and the buzzword that I've been hearing, off-schedule plays for quarterbacks. In the way the league is right now, you need a guy who can make some off-schedule plays. And that's what Lamar Jackson's able to do. Aaron Rodgers is able to do that. There are very few guys that you're able to – very few starting quarterbacks in the league now, I think, that aren't capable of off-schedule plays, or at least making these good off-schedule plays. And that kid makes them. I mean, he's fun to watch. So I would be stunned if he's not in somebody's camp when things happen in the fall. And I'm just wondering, I'm hoping the XFL gets to a full season. I'm not sure that it will, but, I'm hoping it will.
I think it will, actually, because they've got the right funding and the right TV deals in place right now. I don't know about second and third and fourth years. That's a whole different ballgame. But there's no doubt I think it'll definitely make it through at least the first year, because they've got the funding that the AAF, and they're marketing-wise, they're so ahead of the AAF. It's not even funny. So I could see that happening. All right, so let's get to the big news. Is it Ngakoue, right? Is it Yannick Ngakoue? How is it pronounced again?
Yannick Ngakoue.
Yannick Ngakoue. Yes. Obviously, he's not happy. He has been a beast for the Jags now for his first 4 years. It looks like word is they're going to tag him. What's going on here, and how ugly is this thing going to get?
It's going to get pretty ugly. If he is indeed, if that was not a negotiating ploy, he indeed is angry and not willing to play for the Jaguars, which, I know he was very angry last year and very angry throughout the season when they were not able to come to a long-term deal. And the way that played out with Tom Coughlin basically saying, after almost a month, okay, this is our final offer, take it or leave it. And then negotiations broke down there. So, I thought Dave Caldwell, the GM, would be able to do some relationship repair there once the team fired Coughlin last December. But it doesn't look like that's the case at this point. But they will tag him. I mean, they're not going to everyone just says, oh, he's going to be a free agent. I'm like, there's no way the Jags let him walk without compensation. I mean, that would be irresponsible,
right?
Of the Jaguars organization. You tag him and you try and work out a trade. Now, they can sit there and go hardball on him and say, look, you get to play for us this year, you don't play. And then that ball's in Ngakoue's court. And then you wonder, well, will he give up the 18, 19 million that he would get on the franchise tag? Or will he show up? I think, at this point, if they decided to play hardball with him, I don't think he would be here for any of the offseason. He wouldn't be here for any of the training camp. But then you start getting into the situation of, well, will he be here by week 11, or will he take the whole year off like Le'Veon Bell did? But that's further down the road. I just know that this is going to be cranky and contentious, and I don't expect anything done, until the very last day of the window to tag guys, which would be March 12th. If they can't figure something out, then I'm expecting them to throw the tag on him on March 12th, and then see what they can work out in the deal with someone else if they really feel like he won't sign with them.
Mike, how far were they apart? I mean, if you got an excellent, listen, Mikey, you and I have had this conversation already in the past. This is a team that had a really special defense a couple of years ago. You've lost several players off that defense now. It's not nearly as special as it used to be. This is one of your players that you would like to keep. So, I mean, you want some of that good karma around the team. How far were they apart, Mike?
Well, the Jags offered reportedly a deal last year that would have paid him $19 million a year with some easily reached incentives. But he was wanting more. He wanted to be the highest paid pass rusher. He wanted in that $21-22 million range that Frank Clark and DeMarcus Lawrence would get. So, the Jags obviously had a number in mind that they didn't want to surpass, and they felt like, okay, we'll just hold these negotiations and we'll start again next year. But if you're unique and you want to get as much as you can, I totally understand that. And to be honest with you, if the number was 19 that they offered last year in week 1, so let's say, for example, 22, $3 million a year is not. It's not that. That's not a significant difference in the salary cap for these teams. It really isn't. So, I don't know if it's a situation where the Jags don't want to be a team that sets the market for unique, Ngakoue and defensive ends, but boy, they were really willing to do it for Andrew Norwell, the left guard, 2 years ago, and made him the highest paid guard. He's been surpassed after that point. But that's the thing. These numbers. When Joey Bosa hits the market, or when Joey Bosa gets to the point where he's looking for a long-term deal, Unique's not going to be the highest paid guy in the league anymore.
That's right.
It's not going to happen. And when Nick Bosa gets to that point, Joey Bosa is not going to be the highest paid guy in the league either. It's a little bit of an ego thing for these guys. So, what I've said consistently too is like, look, okay, maybe the Jags don't want to pay him 22, for example, per year. But them overpaying for Unique Ngakoue in their eyes would not even crack the top 10 of the worst financial decisions this franchise made over the last 4 or 5 years. It's not even close.
Wow.
So, look, if you're going to overspend on a guy, overspend on your guy. A guy that is going to be there, that doesn't miss games. A guy that is a fanatical workout guy in the offseason. A guy who's always prepared. A guy whose motor goes 150 miles an hour. Those are the guys that you can kind of feel like you overpaid for. You can overpay for it without a little bit of guilt. But, man, you overpay for a guy like Andrew Norwell at left guard, and then he's an average player at best. That's what you don't want to do. So it's going to be interesting to watch, because I do think that there would be a number that might make Ngakoue change his mind, but I don't even think that the Jags would be even willing to get close to that number.
Mikey, now in hindsight, because hindsight is always 20/20, when the owner, Shad Khan, looks back, how much did he set his franchise back by going back into time and bringing Tom Coughlin back?
Well, I will say this. Coughlin deserves a lot of credit for the 2017 season, but so does Doug Marrone and so does Dave Caldwell. Because the bulk of that team, it was constructed before Coughlin got there. And Dave Caldwell handled the free agent signings of Calais Campbell and A.J. Bouye, who were, huge parts of that championship caliber defense. But as the NFLPA came out last December, and said, hey, look, Coughlin is fining guys for stuff that they can't be fined for. A quarter of the grievances filed in the NFL were from Jaguars players against the Jaguars and Tom Coughlin. That's a problem. You wrecked an atmosphere or a culture in the locker room by doing that. Guys aren't required to be there in the off season to rehab, and he's finding guys for not doing that. And it's just like, well, what are you doing? You're driving a wedge between your players and you, and your players in the front office, and your players in the coaching staff. The coaching staff stuck in the middle. Who are the players complaining to? The players complain among themselves, and then if they take it up any higher, they're complaining to their position coaches. And you're putting those guys in the middle. It's just not a good look, and it's not a good way to run business. So, yeah, taking Coughlin back helped a little bit, but it has really set this franchise back over the last 2 years. And, look, you can't blame all of the Nico Ngakoe's anger and angst against this franchise on Tom Coughlin, but you can blame a good deal of it, and now you may lose one of the best players you've ever drafted because of it.
All right, Mike, this is kind of a multi-layered question. I'm sure you're going to have multi-layered answers, and you're going to educate us because you know about this way more than we ever will. But from afar now, and I'm not too far in Miami, but from afar, we see that the owner is now going to play 2 games in London. So the home fans, are they going to get only 6 home games? Is that what we're talking about now?
Yes, 6 home games this year, yes.
So how is that viewed? Because there's a part of me that I thought it was kind of disturbing because, I feel bad for the fan base. But then there's a part of me that says this is actually maybe some genius out of Khan because this is the way he actually keeps Jacksonville in Jacksonville because it cannot sustain itself an entire season there because the community can't do it. So let me find an ulterior motive or source of revenue that can kind of offset it, and I can survive. And then I know he's building that whole complex with, what is it, malls and condominiums, bars and all.
Yeah.
So all that property, he's going to make a lot of money there tax-wise. So it seems to me from afar, again, I'm an idiot, I'm afar, but it looks like he's creating revenue sources and streams so he can actually really keep it there in Jacksonville, even if it's only 6 games instead of 8. Am I right or am I completely crazy here?
Well, you're right on this part, is that he wants more revenue. He wants additional revenue, and they make about 1.75 times as much for a London home game as they do for a home game in Jacksonville.
Wow.
Now, however, they don't need those games to survive. They really don't. They managed to do it for 20 years, 18, 17 years, without playing games in London. By
the way, Mikey, when you're saying that, I'm laughing because Shad Khan doesn't need anything, bro. That guy can burn money every day with no problem.
These guys are businessmen and they want to make money. That's how the country works. I totally get that. Fans were really big when they took that second home game out. And one of the reasons, they hate the term viability. They hate it when Shad's over here talking about viability. And Shad's comment was, I didn't want to put pressure on the fans in Jacksonville to come support, 8 games. Don't think that we could support 8 games here. And then the bottom line is, you've taken another game away from the people who work in the stadium, the people who own businesses around the stadium. People are getting hurt by that. Look, there's nothing wrong with trying to make money. I totally get it. But what, another, I guess, added problem with this is that all the talk about the Jaguars moving had really died down to where it was just a little whisper here and there where people would say, oh, they play a game in London, so if the league ever puts a game in London, or a team in London, it would be the Jaguars. Well, that was so few and far between. Now, 2 games in London, now that stuff's ratcheted back up, all the way up. And look, I know this. I know that any team, the league will not have a team completely based in London. It's just not going to work. The logistics aren't right. There's a level of competitive advantage for a team. When you're talking in the playoffs, you win a game here, and then the next week you've got to fly all the way across the pond to play the Jaguars in the divisional round, and then you win that game, you got to fly all the way back, and then go maybe out to the West Coast to the Raiders. And the competitive disadvantage is there. for teams playing the Jaguars. Now, that being said, I do think at some point there may be a team in London that plays 4 games there and 4 games in the States, and you have a base of operations here in the States. But a team completely relocating to London is to me, out of the question. Now, St. Louis is a viable option. San Diego is a viable option. Oakland's a viable option. San Antonio is a viable option if those stadium issues can be solved. And that's another thing for fans to worry about is that, look, Shad's got a bunch of money. If Jacksonville isn't willing to help him out with this Lot J project that you talked about and isn't willing to work with him on the stadium, which they're looking 5, 6, 7, 8 years in the future, that stadium's going to be the next thing that they're going to want done and really need done. That stadium needs a renovation. Maybe there's a possibility that something else could happen, that another city would be more willing to do so. That stuff's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years in the future, that stadium thing, but it's something that's looming over the franchise. If you look, and the Jags do this annual State of the Franchise address every year, and last year was since the Jags, this was a major point that they made, since the Jags entered the league in 95, Jacksonville and Buffalo are the only 2 cities, only 2 franchises that haven't had either a significant renovation to the stadium or a brand new stadium. Well, the Bills are headed for one or, a huge significant renovation or a new stadium. I mean, that's coming to a head in the next 2 years. So then you're going to be just the Jags. And new stadiums, as we know, is a great way to increase your revenue. And you get a bump for several years from a brand new stadium. And then, we could go into all the other issues here in Jacksonville about how big the stadium's too big, because of the Florida-Georgia game and all that other stuff, and that would end up boring everybody. But the bottom line is, fans here are livid about this second London game. The team says it's just for 2020, but if they're going to make all that extra money, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2 games a year going forward, and then we'll have to see, how the fans handle that. But the bottom line is, and the fans say this all the time, don't talk to us about viability when you had one winning season since 2007.
Right, yeah.
And not only that, you're losing double-digit games 11 of the last 12 years.
Right. No. I'm with you there. It's, it reminds me of the Marlins or the Panthers, down here when you're not winning and you don't win every year, and you're not getting great attendance. Don't blame the fans, dude. I mean, it is what it is. If you're going to be a bad team every year, then you can't expect people to support you. And and I do remember when, in the 90s, when Tom Coughlin was in his heyday, it was, hard to get a ticket there. That place was packed. That place was buzzing, and why? Because that team was buzzing back in those days, Hardy and Brunell and Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell and Fred Taylor. I mean, that was a great Jacksonville team. I know they didn't win a championship, but man, those teams were loaded, man. They had plenty of talent and they were entertaining.
It's a lot to me like Miami from the standpoint, University of Miami from the standpoint. When they were winning big, they were packing it in.
That's right.
But Jacksonville's a college football town. It always has been for eons. And when the Jags first got here and they had that success in year 2, they went to the AFC title game in year 2, and then they were winning games and had the best record in the NFL in '99. I think the fans around here thought it was going to be just like it is in Gainesville and Tallahassee. Because if you remember, FSU and Florida were rolling and winning national championships in the 90s, in the early to mid-90s. And every year they were winning 10, 11 games. And, everyone just kind of expected, well, okay, this is how it works in the NFL. We jump in, and after a year or 2, we're rolling. And I think that spoiled the fans a little bit and, caused some high expectations. And what the Patriots have done over the last 18, 19 years with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, that's unrealistic. Yes. We're never going to see that again. I mean, that's not going to happen. But I think what it does is it creates the expectation that, well, hey, these guys did it, we could do it. And that being said, like, Jacksonville has its issues and its limitations. I get it as a city. We're one of the smallest markets in the league. The stadium really is too big. But if they win and win on a consistent basis. And I'm not saying 10, 11, 12 wins every year, but man, at least be, a team that wins 9 or 10 games and fights for the playoffs into December. I mean, with the exception of 2017, I started covering this team in 2013, but with the exception of that 1 year, these guys are out of the playoff race before people are buying Halloween candy. So you can't operate like that and expect your fans to pack the stadium.
I'm with you all the way. He is Mike DiRocco, does an excellent job of covering the Jags for ESPN NFL Nation. Follow him on Twitter at ESPN DiRocco. Mikey, as always, man, I appreciate you always taking the time and filling us in with everything going on with the Jags, my friend. As always, we look forward to doing it again.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, bud.
You got it, baby. There you go. Mike DiRocco, man. Good stuff there, as always. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll get I see we got a bunch of things there on the chat board. We'll get to your questions. And I got one more thing that I want to share with you, Dolphins-wise, NFL draft. Just a little teaser for you. That's next.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Plus tax tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19. Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when you and use. 50% less. Pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. Pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. Pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street, up until midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Providing the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
Alrighty, we're back. We thank Mike DiRocco for joining us. As always, Mikey does an excellent job, man. I just see come across the wire, Chargers and wide receiver Travis Benjamin, the former Kane. They are parting ways. Chargers will take a $1.5 million cap hit. The Blazer will try to find a home somewhere out there. We'll see if he's able to do that. His numbers haven't been good the last few years, so I don't know if he will be able to. Ronald De La Vega says, Big O, longtime fan of yours, really no nonsense. Thank you, sir. I wonder if you could give an opinion on Cole McDonald, the Hawaii QB and project with great upside. I don't know enough about the kid he's a junior, I know that, and he declared, but I don't know enough about the kid to actually give you any kind of insight.
on him. I'll try to find out more about him now because this week I'm going to start talking to my guys that were at the combine and get some dirt on some of the stuff going on. So I will ask about Cole McDonald because there's a couple of guys too that I wanted to ask about also at that quarterback spot. Let's see. What else do we have here? Big O, I was wondering if you were to go on vacation, would a guy like Troy Stratford do your show? That's what Y2VGAA says. If I go on vacation, nobody's going to do my show because I'm the only one that does my show. I don't mind Troy doing a show with us here. I don't mind. But no, I don't think I'll have a fill-in. If I go out, I'll be out for a couple days, and that's about it. But, yeah, no, I don't think. It's not like we're not a radio station. You know what I mean? We're not a radio station. It's a daily show, but we're not a radio station. So, no, I would probably just take it off. You never know.
If I know you, we're bringing the equipment, and from wherever we are, we're doing the show.
That's more realistic. I like that. It's a good one. John Santos says, Hale, I've been wanting to ask you, what happens if Cincinnati drafts Burrow? Burrow refuses to play for them and sits out a year. What happens then? I don't care about the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, then they would have to, if they have the pick again, they would have to redraft him because you will lose his rights. And he'll go back into the draft again if he doesn't sign with you. So it all depends on what happens the following year and where Cincinnati ends in the draft, and will they take him again? That's the question. But he will go back into the draft if he's not. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. That if you get drafted and then you don't sign and you hold out the entire year, I think you go back into the draft and you can be drafted again. I think. Well, wait a minute. No, yeah. You're fine. Yeah. I think that's how it is. Yes. I don't think that rule has changed. Let's see. Nico says, meanwhile, 18,000 people have died in the U.S. from the seasonal flu this year. 18,000. Yet people run away from the flu vaccine. Yeah, that's true. Yep. Mark says, Big O, it's a blessing to have you on middays. There is no other sports talk worth half a damn during that time slot, either local or national. You kick Rome. Well, thank you. That's very nice of you. I got to work to get that the listen line going as soon as possible. That's what we really need in a big-time way. Now, here's something else that I saw for you Doll fans out there. Daniel Jeremiah, my buddy from the NFL Network, he put out his latest mock draft. And so I wanted to pass it on to you guys out there to give you a little feel for what he thinks is going to happen in the NFL draft. He's got Burrow going 1. He's got Chase Young going 2 to Washington. He's got Jeff Okudah, the corner, going to Detroit at number 3. He's got Tristan Wirfs going to the Giants at number 4. That's the offensive lineman I like. He's got Miami taking Tua at number 5. At number 18, he's got Henry Ruggs, he of the 4.2740 out of Alabama, the junior wide receiver. He's got the Dolphins taking Henry Ruggs at number 18. And because they need to shore up that offensive line, and they better do it now because there aren't a lot of linemen left, Austin Jackson, the offensive tackle from USC, the junior, he's got him at number 26. That's what he's got. In his mock draft, he's got 4 tackles going in the top 10. Wirfs to the Giants at 4. Becton out of Louisville to the Chargers at 6. Willis out of Alabama to Arizona at 8. And Thomas out of Georgia to Cleveland at 10. So 4 tackles in the top 10 of this draft. And that's, for me, if I could take Wirfs at number 5, I would. That would be my guy. Then I would take probably Thomas, then Becton. I know Becton is the flavor of the week and all that stuff because of the combine and all that, but I'm a Wirfs guy. I think Wirfs is going to be a hell of a player. So Daniel Jeremiah with his latest mock draft, which, again, that and a cup of coffee mean absolutely nothing. Now, he could be pretty close in the top 5. I doubt he got 18 and 26 right. Okay, because it's just really hard. Think about this. It's hard for you to nail just 6 numbers in the lottery. You know, you're going to pick like the exact 18 that are going to be picked in the first 18 picks? No. It's just too hard to think like the 32 general managers. It's very hard. Plus, as you all know, curves take place all the time in the draft. Some guy gets picked that you never would have thought would get picked. Amazing.
Want a whole bunch of that in front of us going on.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice. Well, that's why we talked yesterday.
From 6 to 17, let it be small schools like nobody's.
And like that's why I said yesterday that we were talking about how it's a good thing that quarterbacks are getting in front of the Dolphins. Hey, you want to take Tua ahead of us? Go ahead, man. That pushes a lineman down. That pushes a pass rusher down, a corner, whatever. Somebody. It's going to push somebody down. And it's going to give Miami one hell of a player, because that's the one thing I love about Miami being at number 5. They're going to get themselves a hell of a player. I know that we've got this whole thing about the quarterback, but they're going to, if they end up with Tristan Wirfs, you're going to see me in Vegas super pumped up and loving it. Okay? Loving it. All right, on behalf of John and Bill, as always, excellent work by them. Breaking it all down. Bill is breaking the show down as we speak, so you guys can download it and enjoy it in piecemeal or in complete fashion, however it is you want. We thank Manny Navarro from The Athletic. We thank Mike DeRocco, ESPN NFL Nation reporter. Most of all, we thank all of you out there. Remember to give us a thumbs up when you're watching the video on YouTube. Share the link on YouTube with a friend. Tell a buddy. Send it to them on text. Send it to them on Facebook, on Twitter. Tell the world. Spread the love. Let's grow. Let's grow. Let's grow. And thank you all for supporting us as you always do. We love you for it. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
VSS tomorrow.
That's right. VSS West Pines tomorrow. 12397 Pembroke Road. We'll see you tomorrow. Be good.
Have a good one, all.